To salvation. You can work together to save these Canuckleheads. Or you can let them perish. You will have until the end of the broadcast to reach a specific number. You will be given cues throughout the broadcast. These will be your only warnings. They will live or die. Make your choice.
Welcome, everybody, to the show.
That was terrifying.
This is not my contract, Crumb. What is this? Live or die for the host? What?
we just have to pretend like nothing's happening. We just have to go on with it.
Is Hop going to cut the key out of my stomach while I'm sitting here?
No offense, Doug. When it comes to you versus me, I don't know if Earth Gym 2 is going to hit.
I'm doing this for both of us.
Exactly. It's like a live movie. I will eat you, Doug. I will.
I'll give you permission.
Perfect. I've got some mayonnaise. I've got some honey mustard and some bread rolling around.
I'm Dutch, so I'm Dutch and I'm old, so it's all grizzle. How about it?
Oh, damn.
Well, welcome everybody to the show today. As you can see, we have a special guest today joining us, Mr. Doug TenNapel. Welcome to the stream.
Thanks for having me, Crust. Thanks for having me, Mr. Hop.
So
I
much,
appreciate you guys. That's very kind of you.
Appreciate you being here as well.
Yeah, thank you so much for making time to come on here. And we're going to have Ken. Ken's going to be a little bit late, as usual. Ken will be joining us as well. But we are going to be talking about a number of things today. It has been a year, hasn't it?
Oh, it's been quite the year, for goodness sakes.
Oh, my goodness.
How did our year kick off there, Crumb? Oh yeah. Yeah. One of us got a problem with the foots. The other one kind of got a sweet, someone got sweet concussion chin music. Good God. That's how we started this year.
Yeah. If that wasn't like a signifier of how the year was going to go, holy cow. And then Doug
got worse. We snuck in Kitchener, snuck it in under the.
That's right.
We snuck it in under the wire. Yeah, Doug, you had surgery this year.
Oh yeah.
I achieved the cancer, the level called cancer, bonus level cancer. I got it
from you caught it from Twitter, I think.
That's right.
That's awesome. Stop by Twitter. Hangover dumpster fire. Get stage 16 cancer. Nope.
That's right.
Yeah.
However, it didn't beat me, but I assume one day I'll meet up with the boss round again.
That's awesome.
We're all behind you here. We're all
100%.
Yeah. No, it's been one heck of a year for basically everybody with this whole pandemic stuff and everything else like that. So
wait a second. And we got the pandemic
on top of all of this. So we're going to be diving into that topic today. We're going to be talking about a number of things, but we wanted to get Doug on here because Doug is one of the foremost experts, I would say, on this whole Indiegogo and crowdfunding and kickstarting and all this wonderful stuff. So one of our topics that we're going to cover today, because this kind of flows into a lot of what we've been kind of peppering in the past few streams, we've been talking about the future and the forecast of what certain industries are going to be.
Oh,
I mean, we went and saw a little movie yesterday, the SpongeBob SquarePants movie.
You went into a theater and saw a movie?
We went into a theater and saw a movie.
How
cool.
Isn't that awesome? It's so retro. It was great.
It felt like it was 1995
bags of popcorn, things of pop, face masks,
people laughing in public.
Oh, goodness gracious. And the audience was, very, very into everything. Laughed at all the different jokes. How many people were there again, Crumb?
Oh, my goodness. Besides the two of us, three other people.
Are you kidding me? Like, no one was there. That's like they reopened my church and like 20 of us went. It was like we were all spread out. I'm all, why did they open the church if this is all we're going to do?
Well, the fun thing is, so some of the movie theaters are only allowing people to sit in the movie theaters for like 2 hours at a time. Meanwhile, the public school system is saying, "Hey, kids could be here for 8 whole hours." It's like
we're going to cram 75 children into a classroom.
Exactly. Meanwhile, 5 people at the local movie theater watching a debut film.
I'm ready to go. I'm going to sit behind someone. There'll be like a few rows ahead of me. And every time I laugh, during the movie, I'm going to do that old joke where you dip your hands in water and you flick it at the back of their head.
Oh my goodness.
Like, ha, 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 and you just flick it.
So evil. I love it.
So they feel like this
I would
spray on them. Oh, it's going to be great.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, it was like we were spread out.
Evil. Oh, yeah.
It was just the 2 groups. It was just us 2 and then 3 other people.
3 other peoples.
And they were fighting tooth and nail. So like Landmark Cinema and Cineplex Odeon were fighting tooth and nail to get theaters to have 50 people in each theater, not just 50 people in the building. And so they got it from our government. They bitched and whined enough and they got it. And like opening day for the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, Friday afternoon, kids aren't in school. You'd think it'd be packed, at least to the capacity. No, 5 people. It was a ghost town in the theater.
And kids are least susceptible to the pandemic as far as the danger numbers go. But so are we culturally getting reprogrammed not to do these big events anymore? They give you permission, and now it's like, nope.
It seems that way.
Well, the thing is that when it comes down to it, people are frightened. They're scared because the thing is that, again, if we look at people over the age of 50, 60, 70, this is definitely hitting their immune system. Plus, on top of the individuals who have asthma or diabetes, the case may be. Once you get this, you're screwed, especially people who know the actual symptoms that follow thereof, because again, as you've been placed in a coma, they also treat your body temperature and everything else like that. It's supposedly a waking friggin' nightmare. And that's at the beginning of everything. I heard recently that the pandemic has also mutated to the point that there is oh goodness gracious, what is it? There's problems with almost every internal organ after when this actual virus leaves your system, which is like, my goodness gracious. And the things, this is the beginning of things, because the last thing we need to have is this pandemic reaching how can we put this? A large society that keeps intermingling with each other, doesn't care or doesn't respect a particular virus, and watch this thing mutate. That's the last thing we have. And thank goodness that has not popped up at all. Everyone's keeping a level head, and they're moving forward to make sure everyone's looking after each other. So,
trying to, at least. But I think like Doug is saying, I definitely think it's being culturally reprogrammed here. I mean, like I work in a fairly busy store, and like it's been really, really busy, and people aren't really keeping distance. So I mean, there's that. But when it comes to stuff like entertainment, like we saw recently the Rib Fest. Rib Fest moved to they moved to location and have a giant parking lot, and they had people drive through. And from all the photos that we saw of it, it was a ghost town. Like barely anybody was going out to it. You weren't even allowed to stay there. You just drive through with your car and leave.
And just for a just for a bit of content, usually the Rib Fest here in town is held in a park, and it's so packed. You walk around, you pick up some of the best ribs you could have on the friggin' planet. Your cup.
That's what I want.
Yeah, exactly. So this year they come on, hey, we're going to move this thing to the auditorium, which is in the butt end of town beside the freeway. And also the thing is that to pick up your ribs, you got to drive your car through. You can't just walk through. And then when you get your ribs, you have to leave.
Who wants to eat ribs in the car?
Well,
Exactly.
That doesn't sound very good.
No, it's not. It's a complete opposite culture that they had for several years in, several years out. I came across Ribfest by accident. Both Crumb and I have been going steadily for the last few years just to hang out, basically drink beer from the different
Drink craft beer, drink ribs, drink ribs.
I just had that exact meal yesterday. The town over, a few blocks over, they have there's a brewery there, which I might be able to design a beer can for them if I'm lucky. But they do small craft beers. Yep. And then yesterday they had the food truck come out, and it was a beef brisket and rib truck. So I ordered my pulled pork sandwich. No, it was a brisket sandwich. Man, it was one of the best things and a fresh poured glass of beer. And they showed me around their little facility. They had 3, those where they boil the beer and they make the beer in the back, those big metal drums and stuff. They showed me the little factory in back. And
cool.
It's weird.
That's so awesome.
Because he was open to me doing some art for him.
Oh,
but
that'd be
the
amazing.
beer can he wants me to design, it's a coffee stout, which is one of my favorites, but it's called Woke AF. Woke is F. And I'm going, that's kind of ironic.
That would be absolutely amazing.
We got to get a couple of these.
Please do it. Yeah, no, it's been interesting because we're kind of in the downtown core here, and so we have like a walk around. We have we went down to, we live really, really close to the comic book shop. That's downtown here, and it is empty. It has signs plastered all over saying, like masks required, social distancing, blah 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 blah.
Only 5 people at a time, only 10 minutes at a time, type of thing.
Exactly. And we're getting into an age now where you can literally just go online. You can go to a website, or you can go to your favorite creator, and you can order directly from them now. And like I'm guessing, because we haven't had the ability to walk into a comic book shop in about 6 to 8 months now, this is a routine thing, right? I mean, we saw the same thing with conventions. We see the same thing with comic book shops. It's the weekly routine of going and seeing what the new releases are, going and seeing like what newer different titles, et cetera, but now it's kind of getting pushed aside. And we got amazing creators like yourself, Doug, that are putting out really quality campaigns, really quality books. I'm going to take a moment here and put your campaign on screen here. Just give me a moment.
This is what we're going to talk about.
This is what we're going to talk about right here. Boom, there we go. Earthworm Jim, Fight the Fish. Earthworm Jim 2. I bet you like the Canadian dollar number, because this one shows
it looks even better.
It's even better, right? $239,000 Canadian. That's pretty hefty.
Oh.
Wow, that's a lot of comic books.
Look at this. Look at this book, right? I know it's nothing. Look at this book. Like, compared to books that you're going to find at the comic book shop, and like for what you're going to pay for it. Right. I mean, this book would cost like a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah, it's a $50 book.
Absolutely. And you get so much more for it too. I mean, I got Earthworm Jim 1. I'm pretty sure I got the Bigfoot Bill 1 and 2 package.
Yep.
That's coming soon.
Yep. I thank you.
Oh, thank you for making it. It looks amazing. And this is like quality stuff. Like this is absolute. Like, you're not going to get this stuff in a comic book store, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to point comics to do. This is not just about being cancel proofed, and we can talk more about that, because you're a trans person and you're a good friend of mine. But also, if you go down in the comments, I mean, these people are hitting me hard, because there's been some conflict with me and some of the non-traditional forms of sexuality that I oppose. And I'm getting bombed in the comments by people trying to cancel me, saying that I've made jokes about trans people, which I have. I've made jokes about gay people, which
you make jokes about everybody.
I make jokes about fellow evangelicals all the time. In fact, I'm hardest on us. So forgive me for treating everyone like human beings. but I don't apologize for them either. So I just want to warn your audience, because some of them may have a problem with some of the way that I've spoken. I don't want them to back this and then want to back out. I'm not trying to trick anybody into a book.
What?
I'm just,
what is this? I just came back. I had to get a prop. What's going on here?
If you read the cancel culture stuff down at the bottom, they're after me for because I've used the word FAG before, and you know,
what's that spell? What was that spell?
Gaff, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, gaff. And
is it like FAQ?
Yeah, it's like FAQ. I've said Black Lives Matter is a communist fraud and things like that. So I'm just saying, it's they can try to cancel me, and they might succeed. They might succeed one day.
You're on the wrong stream, Doug. When it comes down to people trying to cancel someone, like look at both Crumb and myself, especially me in my own backyard with things.
Yeah,
you're among good people.
I just feel bad because sometimes my mouth and my some of my words will bring people like you trouble, and Cress has come out and defended the hell out of me in public.
Wait a second. Crump, did I ever say anything stupid online ever back 6 years? Back 6 years ago?
You know, Doug, when I eventually get to see you in person, I'm just going to get you to sign the dents on my baseball bat. That's all.
There you go. There you go. Swing hard.
Sir, you are among good companies this afternoon.
Swing hard. I appreciate that. No, I'm among friends. And that's the bottom line. I always appeal to finding people, instead of just ones that believe like you, but stand with your friends and the people that you know have your back. And in today's culture where they're always trying to peel people away from each other, don't let them peel you off.
That's right. That's right.
I do have people come in and they find out what I believe and they refund, and I'm okay with that. I'm never trying to misrepresent myself and trick people into getting a book that they wouldn't fund if they knew what I thought or believed or have said. So,
and our one of our top Patreons. So for the folks in the audience, if you get our top Patreons, top 2 tiers, I believe, get you into the private chat here. But one of our top Patreons, Viper Talon, is currently in the VIP chat and says, Doug, you're highly opinionated and I do not always agree with you. However, just because I disagree with you at times does not affect my love for your art.
Yep. And you'll find nothing insanely insulting in Earthworm Jim. It really is it's made for everybody, for people of all backgrounds. And to me, the work is what unites us all. And I have a lot of people that, I mean, I've never met someone who agreed with me about everything that I believe. Believe me, we talk long enough, and I'll find something we disagree on. So, but and I appreciate the generosity. But today we're being culturally conditioned more and more to only buy stuff from people we agree with. If that guy says the wrong thing, I'm not going to go see Wonder Woman, or I'm not going to go. I'm never going to see this comedian again, or whatever.
Oh, it's so true. Well, before we dive into that, just a quick question from Nernieth. Question for Doug: would you rather milk an earthworm-sized cow or a cow-sized earthworm?
Earthworm-sized cow or a cow-sized earthworm? I will definitely go with an earthworm-sized cow, because that sounds much less disgusting to wrap my hands around. Tiny teats rather than giant. Well, I don't even know if you could milk a worm, if you know what I mean.
I am utterly beside myself with that particular question, Crumb. Why would our chat come up with that?
Yeah, you have deviants in the chat.
Deviants.
Utterly horrible.
To go back to that question, it's like we absolutely are being conditioned on purchasing. Like I remember when I was growing up, and like I don't even think there was ever a time that I looked into the people behind the project, right? And say, well, that one person I don't like, I'm not going to support that.
That's right.
It doesn't make any sense. Like for Earthworm Jim, for example, I mean, and for anyone out there that is watching this that does not like Doug, I mean, totally up to you. I mean, you guys have your choices, whatever else. Right. There's an entire team that goes into these books.
Right.
Like there's a bunch of people that go behind, like that go into this, and because you're slighting the project, or you're smashing the project, or you're tearing it down because you don't like Doug. that's unfair to the rest of the people, right?
You're taking money from people who I pay who probably believe more like you.
Exactly. And we deal with the same stuff with Kitchener Comic-Con because people try to do the same thing. They try to put Mr. Hop as the figurehead and say, it's his convention and we need to tear it down, we need to destroy it, everything else like that. But it's like the reality is Mr. Hop might be at the top of it and he might make the decisions, but the reality is like there's lots of other people that put work and time and effort and love into it. So
and you hire all kinds of people. You hire the best people for the job. So
exactly.
they're gonna crater out a convention and punish not only people who they might agree with who you hire, but all the fans. Think of the variety of fans that will come and enjoy. They want to take away their fun time.
Absolutely.
Crumb, what's our hashtag?
Which one?
Well, what's our main hashtags besides the Kitchener one?
Oh, for the fans.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. That hashtag speaks loud and clear of exactly what our particular event is all about.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's not about the capital gain. It's not about, it's about making money, but not making money, but making money. But however, the bottom line is that it's for the fans, by the fans, hopefully creating new fans. And that's the most important aspect behind events such as this.
And the real fans that are interested in this stuff, that love comics and love the Mignonia or love anime, they all come. It's a tiny percentage that are trying to represent everyone with their wallet, and then they're your anti-marketing.
And Doug, here comes the funny part about Kitchener Comic-Con, especially with this dynamic. We've had a couple of people who are a little bit spicy and salty against us too, in the events and stuff like that. They say, we're gonna vote with our wallets, and we're not gonna come to your event. Both Crumb and myself, we laugh and we laugh and we laugh because it's a free event. And of course, they get more upset because we're laughing at them. We're pointing our fingers going, vote with your wallet. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, no. Here's the best part. Since they're all the authority, want to make sure the convention is running properly, to make sure no one's getting hurt and stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. They show up and guess what they do? They buy stuff from the vendors.
Yeah. And they have fun.
Silliness. They do, and that's the
fun.
Yes. Yes. 100% yes.
So and you're still succeeding, although the pandemic might take us all out, but you're still succeeding. I'm succeeding raising money on a book in the middle of a pandemic. So it's working.
We're the bestest comic book convention in Southern Ontario right now. We use that adjective exactly how it is. The bestest ever. And it's just awesome.
Like honestly, though, it's everyone that we're around. Everyone that we seem to kind of get close with. We're all winning, right? Our convention's doing well. Next year, we're already making plans for a pandemic variant of our convention. If we have to go that route,
a safe distancing festival.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we have a question, or sorry, we have a statement from Viper Talon here. It says, my question is, when did acceptance and tolerance become bad? You have to fully support and endorse X, Y, or Z, or you're against something. It's like, sorry, but that's just wrong. I completely agree.
And I see, I'm a Christian, so I see a lot of my fellow Christians refunding Netflix for doing that hideous underaged video.
Oh my goodness.
And there's mass people backing out of that. And I'm kind of going, if I pulled my money out of Netflix for this, Netflix has thousands of things that I think are disgusting. Why? It's not like this one just crossed a magic line. They're all foul. So I don't understand why now I'm supposed to boycott them or do a mass refund of their channel. I just,
silly.
It's not that I don't care. It's just that there's a lot of stuff. What happens when a great movie like Patton comes on or something? I want to see it.
Right.
And it's a good service, and it's in my house. My family uses it. So,
you can decry things that you don't like, but I think the thing that mostly social media is missing on this is that you can't tell other people how to think. You can have your own political beliefs, your own religious beliefs, your own social beliefs, but don't press that on other people, because then
and they can't say that I'm somehow for underage kids being strippers if I still fund Netflix. That just isn't true. So
Doesn't make any sense.
Well, I was just thinking that myself, Douglas.
Yeah,
It doesn't make any sense at all.
I'm staying ahead of you guys. Hold on, I'm gonna get some water so I can ink this page.
Yeah, no worries. No worries.
Oh no, we got him
Just
upset.
as-
Doug, come back!
just
Come
as
back,
Ken-
Doug!
But yeah, like we're gonna talk about this briefly, but we're gonna bring Ken Jennings into the stream.
No, is it Ken Jennings robot or Ken Jennings?
We have robot avatar Ken Jennings. I love it.
Hey, not Ken.
How are you doing today?
Oh my god!
What's so funny?
It is nothing. Not Ken
fantastic.
Jennings 2.0. It
That's
is all good.
fantastic. Welcome, Ken, to the stream.
Who is
Doug,
Ken? I'm not Ken.
if you've not met him before, this is the therapist, also known as Ken Jennings.
Or
Not
is this
just
the
so
AI?
I can get
Or-
some therapy.
Or is this the AI used to be known as not Ken Jennings?
I don't know. I think we.
The AI formerly known as Ken Jennings. We could probably roll with that.
Awesome.
I'll bring this back for now.
There we go. Thank goodness.
Perfect.
Oh, no.
How are you
Done on
doing?
purpose.
We've lost Doug completely now.
No,
Why
he's
is it
he's inking. He's inking a page.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna
He's
bring this
inking.
back.
Wait a minute. He's doing work on our show.
I know.
Well, it's
This-
fun. It's
this
fun
is
to
awesome.
look at. We're going to talk about comics. So how fun is
Yes!
it to do a
Yeah.
comic live?
That's just
Comic Live. That's wild. Yeah, we were gonna just mention briefly our plan for KCC next year if this pandemic thing is still rearing its ugly head, which I don't think it's going anywhere for a while.
Yeah, I don't either.
FYI for the crowd, but no, we're planning on having either a 1 or 2 day festival, having it outside, having tents, having all this fun stuff.
Yeah,
maybe
we're
we'll have ribs and beer. Who knows?
yeah, we're definitely putting a lot of stuff at the forefront. And the thing is, it really depends on the current climate of things and how things are and stuff like that. So, lots of question marks, lots of depends, stuff like that.
Yeah. So it's everything's up for change. So we'll
This
see
could
how
be the new normal.
it could be the new normal. It very well could be. And so, like, I really wanted to get you on the show, Doug, because your input on this is going to be incredibly invaluable for how comics are going to be turning out and what's going to happen to the comic industry. Because I mean, like myself, Mr. Hop, I'm sure can digest comics to a varying degree, but we don't really have an insight
What?
into a bigger insight into the industry and how that goes. So, I mean, how do you see things shaping up?
Well, I'll tell you for me, I have 10 books published through Image Comics, and I've got 6 titles published through Scholastic. And
That's awesome.
I went independent for Bigfoot Bill 1, and then we're delivering 2 beginning of next month. Earthworm Jim 1, which raised $815,000, and then this is Earthworm Jim 2, which we're on Kickstarter right now at $180-something thousand. I've never seen that kind of money when I worked for a publisher. So being a publisher, you have to take on more duties, but I'm cancel proof now because I address my audience directly, and I want them to know. I invite them into my life so you guys come into my studio. You get to see me work every day. I tell you I really am transparent with all the costs of these things and the amount of work that all this takes. So it's almost like a Patreon or something where you get to see how it's all done. And the backers come in at way deeper amounts because it's almost like a comic convention because they get to meet. The books are signed and things like that. There's way more communication between me and my fans. I actually know my audience. I see them come back in. I met you.
Absolutely.
For crowdfunding. So I just think regular comics can't compete with this, and regular comics are threatened both by the stores shutting down because there's so few stores left. So there's some distribution problems there. And so few stores to hold an industry up. But then there's also the woke culture that is trying to dictate content across the board. That content shall be these positions only. And if you come out with a position that's different, then we have to destroy your book.
Which is so wild. Like,
and on top of before the pandemic was a whole bunch of stuff that was taking place as well, because one of the few things that Doug knows is the two biggest publishing companies to get involved with is Marvel and DC. Yep. So the question is, what happens when they get fan toxic in a short period of time, like within a few years, going after the fans and stuff like that? Basically, what it equals to is loss of sales. Once you have loss of sales, and you have a severe economic downturn taking place in the comic book industry, especially with comic book shops literally working from month to month to month to month.
Yep.
Basically, when you have a publisher, let's call it out here, Marvel, who says, "Hey, you have to buy X number of titles."
That's right.
Get our variant cover, and the thing is that yes, it's going to be the variant cover which will basically support your comic book shop, and the fans will come out of the woodwork just to buy the regular issues and to pick up a variant cover. And the next thing you know, the variant covers are not fought after. They decrease in value versus increasing in value, and basically they're selling a false bill of goods. And we just lost Ken.
No, Ken.
Great robot, Ken. Thanks.
The robots got him.
The AI got him.
Exactly.
The Russians.
The thing is that these were the problems before the pandemic hit as well. And it's just insane to see what was going on, because this all started with a couple of very small handful of YouTubers basically walking up the comic book pros and saying, "Hey, you know what? I've been doing this for 10 to 15 years, and your guys' stuff sucks.
Yeah,
and this is why." And of course, salty language being used, a couple of adjectives that shouldn't be used in a professional setting was thrown around. But when it comes down to it, who cares? Why? Because these people are the general public. They're not representing companies. They're not representing actual brands or titles or legacy books and characters. It's sort of like these are a couple of jackasses who stepped up and said, "You suck. Tell us why we should buy your book." And we have these people coming up and saying, "Well, if you don't like our book, you don't have to pay for it."
That's right.
If I heard that,
I don't want your money, is what they say.
Yeah, exactly.
And it puts. I think they took the fans for granted. Like they just assumed I can do and say anything to this person.
Yeah, and to make things even worse, Crumb, they put this on social media.
It's so true.
And it's like, what are you people's doing? It's like, well, we're here in the Twitters and we run this bitch. It's like, oh, really? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So the thing is, at the same time, for these larger companies, they're heavy university hiring and stuff like that. So you have people who have massive talent, like our friend Doug here, being pushed off to the side for individuals who can't draw a full circle freehanded.
That's right.
Like, what are these people doing? Or even write properly?
It's so crazy. Like you look at the recent stuff, and I'm going to bring this up because we talked about it briefly in another show. Ken is back. The robots didn't get Ken.
That's sweet.
Oh, fake news.
Fake news. Fake news.
Fake news.
But
the news was not real.
We talked about Ren and Stimpy getting a reboot.
Yeah.
And they're not. They're apparently like this is what I'm talking about, right? Most people don't know about John Kay and his history and his past. Or his whatever. Like most people just know, like, oh, okay, he was involved with Ren and Stimpy. But they had to when they say that they're making a reboot for Ren and Stimpy, they had to bring up the fact that this is not associated with John Kay whatsoever and his history of X, Y, and Z. It's like, why are you signaling for that? Like, I'm worried for that series. Exactly, after how many years? I'm so worried for that series because I have this horrible feeling in the pit of my stomach. It's going to be some CalArts like knockoff. Oh no! It goes again.
The robots, the T1000s have risen against again.
Well, and I've met John Kay, and he's one of the most creative guys I've ever met. Of course, he was awful and abusive to staff. In different ways. But don't forget, without him, you wouldn't have Ren and Stimpy, and this is a corporation going, "Thanks, artists. See you later."
Yeah, exactly.
We don't need you. We'll take it from here, and we will publicly shame and go after you. This is what, 10 years after the big incident happened.
Yeah.
And then we'll take your creation. So thanks for creating this. See ya. We own it now.
It's so
It's been
crazy.
wonderful. And on top of that, this is the exact same aspect. Oh, Ken's back for the now. This is the exact same thing. This is also the same thing that happened to the creator of Invader Zim. Because Nickelodeon went, hey, you know what? You're doing an awesome job. We really appreciate what you're doing. And we're just gonna take that away from you and do our own stuff moving forward. Thank you. And of course,
I knew Jonan Vasquez forever. He's a really good guy.
Yes.
Really good guy.
Like, I'd love to have a conversation with him one day. Like, oh my goodness.
Him at a convention was awesome. Just seeing him work, because it was an incident that took place that there was this one girl that was crying because she was in his presence, and the security was just pushing the person off the side, and he stood up on the table, pointed the security and said, "Get the fuck away from her and bring her over here. We'll fix this type of." That's the type of guy he is.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Amazing.
My goodness, it's like, this is what these people do, though. Like the quote unquote SJWs of the world, like the people that go and try and cancel everybody and et cetera. They see these stories of people, like of these figureheads of companies, and then they just get them removed and take their fruit of their labor. Yeah. It's so wild.
Yeah. Well, it all comes down to two aspects. I said before, it's both show and business. The thing is, you have to the mastery of your craft, and also understand the contract you're currently signing as well. And if you don't like it, don't sign it, because one of the few things that I really tip my hat to both Doug and Evan and Richard. Oh, it's gone again. The thing is that they have found and blazed a new path forward, so you don't have to go the traditional route of things.
Exactly. That's right. We'll show you the way. We'll show you. And if John Caver created another comic, and if he found, an audience that was okay with buying his work again, then he could make the next Ren and Stimpy or his own creation and put it out there independently.
Because I mean, we have a local comic artist, Dave Sim, that lives in town here actually, and like we've tried to get him to come out to Kitchener Comic Con, because he's he
never comes to our event ever. Never.
He does, though. He just doesn't.
I know he does. I mean, he's just horribly.
He just doesn't make a big deal about it. But no, he's very much like recused himself from most of society because of the stuff that was said about him and what people don't like about him, and people calling him a misogynist and all this other stuff.
Yep.
But he still does great stuff, and like he's still an interesting person, and he's still a great creator. So
just liking a guy's work and saying Dave Sim is one of the most profound innovators. In fact, he's kind of the granddaddy of everything that we're doing in independent comics. He invented it with Cerebus.
Yeah.
He helped guys like Jeff Smith do Bone. So I'm just saying, we're all building our careers on his back, and just because he did something wrong in our eyes doesn't mean that it takes away from his great work. Great work is great work.
100%. And I mean, like what you guys are doing, like you, Doug, like Mr. Haupt was saying, Ethan Van Sciver, other individuals as well in the whole Comicsgate community, like absolutely trailblazing.
Exactly. Fear the name.
Like y'all are hitting all of the landmines along the way, so that people that come after you have a clear path. Like it's such a great thing about what you guys are doing. Like incredible that you could that you think like nowadays you could just go on an Indiegogo and buy exactly what you want or exactly what you're looking for, and you get so much more from what,
and that's more of it now. You get more of the creator. If you want to see Ethan Van Sciver, this guy puts on 4-hour shows. You're going to get all the Ethan Van Sciver you can stand. You're going to get a ton. And that's what's weird is today the fans, they're not just fans of the work, they're fans of the people. So
absolutely,
you can get in there, and now I can't imagine if I, I'm a huge fan of Bill Watterson, who did Calvin and Hobbes.
Yeah.
I'd love to sit and watch him draw for 4 hours a day on YouTube. I'd watch that all day.
Absolutely. Yeah. You see the process from start to finish. It's so surreal. Oh no. I was just about to ask Ken a question too.
Ken,
I was going to jump in saying, "Hey Ken, you want to add anything?" Kind of quiet.
You have to talk really fast next time you go. Ken,
Ken, what do you think? I think this is awesome. One of the few things that people don't really understand when it comes to independent publishing is that back in the 90s, it was so tough. And this is one of the few things I think Doug could actually talk about, because it used to be, hey, you want to print your comic, because there was no internet back then.
That's right.
No internet. So the thing is that you have to go to a web press and basically be educated and also what's what I'm looking for here, baptized in the wonderfulness of what a web press really consists of. And on top of it, they just can't print off 20 copies. You start at 3,000.
That's
then
right.
A couple of bucks more, you get 5,000. A couple of bucks more, you get 10. Of course, when you get your print run higher and higher and higher, it's cheaper per unit. And then after that, you get the fun back in the day of putting it out through 1 but 6 different distributing companies.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you try to establish some form of contact with the comic book shop, because that was it. That was the game. If you couldn't do it, you're out. Why? Because
they would give you a shot. They, they'd order a whole lot of number 1s just in case you were the next Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. And the thing is that my company was after all of that golden age independent. This is right before the cost of paper jumped up by 300% within like a week. And the thing is that when it came to independent stuff, no one was going to spend $6 for a 24-page floppy
that's right
comic. It's just, we just couldn't do it anymore. We did our best. We tried and just couldn't do it. We're getting a lot of encouragement, where we're getting a lot of keep going with this. It's just financially, it's like, hey, when we had our like 5,000 issues of both of our books just sitting there collecting dust, that's heartbreaking. And now with more crowdfunding, it can be done per order. You could do a lot of good stuff with it. And it's just amazing what can be done. And plus, on top of that, it all comes back down to, hey, you could go to the comic book shop, you could pick up a book for $4.99, or you could go on to something like Kickstarter and Indiegogo and stuff like that, spend a set time of money and get a lot more for your dollar value.
Yep. Yeah. Now it's millions of dollars going through Indiegogo and Kickstarter.
So crazy to think
millions about. More for indies. It's a way better market now. And of course, back then I didn't, I couldn't imagine such a thing as an Indiegogo or a Kickstarter existing. The idea that you go directly to the fans. There's no distributor. I am my own distributor now, and because I get, when I've raised $180,000 for my backers, I don't suddenly feel the need like, oh, if I don't put this in a store, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
Like, actually, I'll just mail direct.
And back in the day, you had to go to the store. And
that's right.
When you finally, part of my foreign language, got your fucking book in the shop.
That's right.
Oh, we're going to put it in the back of the store with all of the other independents. And I looked at them and said, okay, hold on just for a second here. Borrowed a piece of paper, already, pre-typed and everything else like that. And it clearly stated is that if my product was damaged, then the shop had to buy it.
Yeah.
And they went, sure, no problem. Signed off on it. Disappeared for 6 months. Come back saying, hi, I'm here to get my books back. And they give me like this stacking heap of destruction.
Yeah.
I look them straight in the eye and I say, hey, you have to buy these. What? These are damaged beyond I could sell them. Oh boy.
Manhandled pages from the store.
Oh yeah. The whole thing is about collecting. Like, you got to take the book, you got to put a cardboard backing and a Lime-R bag. You got to make sure it's all sealed properly. Every little dent in there decreases the value of the book itself. And it's like these comic book shops, when they got it, your independent book is like, well, we'll just wrangle it up and just throw it in the bag. Nobody's going to buy this crap.
Yeah. And that's where all the cool books were too. I love the indies. I remember early Dark Horse in the 80s and of course Image in the mid 90s. Those were all where the cool stories were being told, because that's where Allman was published, Madman.
Yeah.
And Concrete, That's where The Mask came
Hard
out.
boiled.
Yep. Hellboy came out through them. And I'm just saying, man, that's where all the cool ideas were. We're always coming from the indies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Ken.
Yes, I wanted to ask
Ken. Hurry.
Ken.
Yes, before my modem decides to murder me in my sleep again.
It wants to play a game.
Yes, it does.
So I know Ken is a fan of the Earthworm 2 video game.
Cool.
Earthworm Jim 2 video game. Ken, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised to hear that there's going to be a little bit of a throwback to that in this next indie comic.
Look right here. Here's the flying blind cave salamander flying into. This is a giant Psychro corpse. This is an exclusive spoiler. He's flying into a giant. And this is Bob up here, the goldfish, doing his hypno eyes. He's making Jim see this. So that's his main weapon is terror. So this is page 133 of a 160-page book.
So Ken, how interesting is it as a consumer of products, of these products and stuff? How interesting is it, or how important is it for you as a consumer to be able to see this process right now?
I mean, I've seen Doug's, drawing and inking streams before, and they're something that's unique that you don't see, like you wouldn't see in another form or another fashion. This is I think a new twist on the industry that, people like Doug and Ethan are taking, full advantage of, and, really getting to their fans, really getting to their base. And that's something that I don't think you really had before. Your product was the comic. Now it's both the comic and the artist. The comic and the staff that goes into creating it.
Mm-hmm.
You get to really know who they are. You get to know their backstories. You can read their social media. And 20 years ago, this was not possible effectively. It's a whole new thing. I think that changes how people purchase things too. Like I wanted to buy the first Earthworm Jim comic that Doug was doing, and I didn't get a chance to. There was a money situation. I had some family stuff going on, so I couldn't buy it, and I felt like shit because I really wanted to buy it because it was, first comic being released, and he hadn't finally got the rights to it, and that was something where I'm not really into comics, but that was something that was it's interesting to me that I could see this and that I could watch him do it, and it gets me interested in wanting to purchase stuff like this, and not just the base comic, but all the extra stuff and all the fluff on top.
Yeah, it's always the little things.
I can barely hear you, Ken. You need a microphone.
Oh no!
Oh, I do. Let me boost my levels a bit.
There you go.
Is that
good? Crank them up. There you go. Thank you.
Sorry about that.
I'm old.
There's a backstory about my microphone.
Doesn't have a microphone. Ken has a potato that has these wires growing from it. So that's why he's got AV audio issues.
I'm pretty sure the store that I bought my microphone from was possessed.
Yes.
They hate you.
Probably.
They're trying to
I've
cancel
done some
you.
pretty bad things to it. So, yeah, that's a good segue into the questions I was wanting to ask.
Okay, go.
For it.
So Doug, this is, you mentioned, being canceled. Now you're effectively cancel proof. What was that like for you? Like they mentioned, I'm a therapist. That's my job. What was that like for you going through that, dealing with the canceling thing and having to kind of get up and start, basically a whole thing from scratch? You're now not just the artist, you're drawing, you're distributing, you're dealing with suppliers, doing all sides of the business. And then on top of that, losing, other sources of income, people, slamming your name, telling you all these horrible things.
Yeah. History will remember me as a homophobe bigot is what I'm going to get from mainstream press and gaming media, because I was in Gamergate. They went after me back then for Earthworm Jim, for Princess being too beautiful.
Oh my God.
Sarkeesian wrote it in her paper. The way it feels is it's really weird because there is a blessing hidden in all of this, which is there's now no easy money anymore. So you can't just sit back and just draw, and then just the money truck gets backed up to your house and pours it all over your lawn. Now
you got to clean that up.
Yeah,
please.
Now you're going to have to earn it. And I'm a sole provider. I have a wife of. We've been married 30 years. I have 4 kids, and I live here in Tennessee now. But back then, I lived in LA when I first started getting canceled, and so the finances were troubling. But I had I was friends with and wrote for Andrew Breitbart back in the day, and he got canceled way before I did. He got nailed out of Hollywood, and he was one of the guys that kind of counseled me as I was first getting attacked by a lot of these SJWs in mass media, especially in Hollywood. And the Hollywood ones are they're mean as hell, man.
Oh, yeah.
And I started watching shows suddenly not get picked up, movie deals collapsing and stuff like that I'd normally make a lot of my income from. And he said at one point, his career, and because he had a writing career in Hollywood. And he said he realized at one point that he was ruined, like completely ruined by the leftist press. And he said it was weird because he lifted his head up and realized they couldn't take anything more from him. Mm-hmm. And at that point, he raised his head and he said he was a free man. And now they've awakened the true dragon. And that was what really launched him into being just a huge fighter of the left, was because once they take everything, what else, you have nothing more to lose. So now I'm 100% all in, because now I'm not going to go and play nice with them anymore. I'm not going to try to negotiate with them, because they're going to absolutely destroy my career if it's up to them.
It's true.
And that's what really woke me up and said, you have to go independently and curate a fandom of people who will not cancel you for your beliefs. And this is especially if you have unpopular beliefs like mine. My fans are the ones that I'm loyal to. I literally don't give a rip what anyone has to say about my career if they haven't picked up a book. And none of these lefties read or buy comics like mine anyways, are the kind of people that would cancel me and say,
do they read and buy anything? No,
they don't like anything.
No, they don't. They really
man,
don't.
they love flexing. They love
allowance isn't
flexing
enough
on
for all those
everyone.
comics.
They flex on conventions. They flex on Magnolia. They love just flexing on everyone.
And the thing is that when they get together and do their own Kickstarter thing, it's like, oh, look at you kids. You're so cute. You know, all 25 of you coming together, putting a book together with a bunch of, each other's. And the thing is that, there's 25 of them, and Doug kind of goes, all right. Watch this, kids. And just blows them out of the water. And Richard goes, hey, exactly.
And like Doug was saying,
it's like whatever.
Well, and like Doug was saying, it mirrors something that I actually I had a conversation with Vic Mignogna about in person, and it kind of got a raised eyebrow. So I'm hoping that it got across the correct way. But I told Vic his loss at Funimation, right? Him getting out from Funimation, as much as it sucks and as much as it was a hard thing, I'm like, it was a blessing, because he could be so much more now that he's free of Funimation and that he's away from that. They don't deserve to have someone of his talent there.
That's right.
Because he's so talented and they're holding him back. I'm like, he could do so much more and so much better now. And I think that's a case with a lot of people that are kind of just stuck in whatchamacallit, the familiarity, right? They're just stuck in whatever. They're just like, well, they're just doing it because it's what they've been doing. It's the same thing with the pandemic, right? About everything, about conventions, people going to conventions, people going to comic book stores. Well, it's just something we've always done. It's just familiar. So we're just going to keep doing it. But it just seems like it's kind of like a global wake-up call now for people. Because people have been getting canceled left and right and everything else like that, but still finding success in different things. I mean, we're being forced to grow in different ways.
That's right. It's good. Sometimes the reward for doing what's right is you lose money and you lose business.
Exactly.
I mean, That's what you know. You know what you can your values and get more views. Period.
Yeah, it's kind of fun again. Perfect example of what Crumb is saying here is that with KCC, we stumbled into something absolutely fantastic, because as every other event that was doing the exact same thing that we were doing was basically selling passes to get in, we went, well, let's roll the dice. Let's make this a free event. Let's look from a different financial
different model. Just because everyone else is doing it,
exactly,
you have to do it that way.
And the thing is that about me is that I don't mind diving things in the head first. Gets me in trouble from time to time. Crumb could actually talk about that. But long story short, I said, all right, let's give it a shot. That's what we got. And on top of that, it was very important for me, and also with Crumb, to basically design a platform here in our very small horse-driven town. And the thing is that let's do it.
It's very much about making yourself uncancelable, basically. It's about being your own, making your own, and making something that people cannot take away from you. Yeah. Ken, you said you had questions? Did you have?
Sorry.
No, I was just curious to get Doug's insight on it, because for me, my thing is mental health. I love mental health.
Yeah.
So, and I'm watching this from my sphere over the last few years. I've been kind of touching a little bit of each of these circles. I know a little bit about Comicsgate. I know a little bit about these things, and seeing it from the outside and watching how these interactions are going down, how people are being quote unquote canceled, and I'm thinking about, the people who are being impacted by this. And I'm watching people, effectively mob someone, online or in their place of employment or in some form or fashion. And that's, having 1,000 people go, well, this person's horrible, they're racist, they're sexist, they're these things. And maybe you did something like that, maybe you didn't, but to have it all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you are now this hated person, you are now the person to be, immolated.
Yep.
How, that's got to have such a huge impact on people. And I mean, we've seen, what happens with people going after people on, for different things, whether it's Me Too or things. That one, I think, what was it? A game designer or a game developer killed himself. After he was accused for Me Too.
Yeah, there are people out there, Ken, where this is not going to be for you. Like, if you don't have the core strength, and I don't mean that as a flex. I just mean I work with a lot of shy people, and and they're living on a razor's edge, and going through what Cress and Mr. Hop have gone through and what I've gone through might be too much.
Yeah.
It really is. You have to have a pretty thick skin. You really can't care what people think, do, or say.
Absolutely.
And there's people that that's just not in their nature. They care a lot. They want to fit in, or they technically really do believe their critics, that when they say they're terrible and they'll never be anything, they really do believe that. I mean, Cress knows this from the kind of stuff that a trans person would go through. I'm just saying, if this it's not for the weak. And I've even gone toe to toe against Comicsgate, because I'm not Comicsgate, and they've come after me, and I've seen people buckle under that and just in terror compromise their values. And I'm just saying, this isn't for those people who are sensitive. It's not a fair game. Exactly. It's not nice out here. Because if you're going to be a public figure and you're going to publicly present your comics, you have to take your gloves off, because all of your critics, everyone's going to take their gloves off on you, and you just have to have a thick skin and say, I'm not going to define myself by people who either hate me or are not here to help. I'm not going to let them have a say in my life. And some people can't do that. Mentally, you can't do that.
And I hear like all sorts of people like say all sorts of things about you, Doug. And now you can correct me if I'm wrong on my interpretation of this.
Yeah.
Now the biggest criticisms that I hear from people that don't like you, and I ask them, it's like, well, why don't you like Doug?
Yeah.
Like, give me a reason as to why you don't like him. And their biggest criticism of you is that the way that you approach people, or the way that you talk to people, is antagonistic, and et cetera, et cetera. And the way I explain it to people, it's like, look, from what I understand from talking to you and having conversations with you, is that you yourself are very ingrained, and you're very steadfast in what you believe in, and you're very like you stand behind what your values are. And you try to push other people to have that same sort of integrity and stand up for what they believe in. And because when you challenge them to do that, that makes them feel threatened, and they don't know how to they break to the strongest will of the situation, instead of just standing up for themselves when they need to stand there and argue it.
Yeah, the people who have a problem with me being an asshole, I don't have as big of an argument with that. With my tack, I can hear that criticism a lot more than there's more than two genders or something. It's like some stuff I'm more pliable on others, but it's also, if you get to know me, the people who get to know me know that I really do look for the good in other people. I am looking for bonding and fellow allies. But people who come after my business over disagreement, or even over me being an asshole, I got nothing for them. I got to pay rent, got to move on. You're not meant to be. I'm not going to ever be inoffensive to everyone with my mouth, and so you're probably asking too much if that's what you want, to knock the edges off of everything I do. And when you see other people that they literally worship being 10 times the asshole you are, you realize they don't have a problem with people being an asshole. It's really, they only bring up the asshole thing because they disagree with you.
Exactly.
And on top of that, the entertainment industry is full of dicks and assholes.
That's what I'm saying. They love that.
A lot of these fucking kids online don't understand this. And the reason I'm saying this is that they only see the front of the things.
That's right.
But like the thing is that they don't understand that there's so many frustrations, so many things that just don't go right. Plus you're under a deadline, plus you're under a contract, and you have to produce. If someone isn't producing and they're a main part of your project, you're going to lose your mind and say things are not exactly politically correct. You're going to go up and say, what the fuck is your problem?
I do that all the in fact,
what's going on? Like, come on, we talked about this.
I'm a conservative evangelical, so guess what I hear every day in Hollywood, right?
Oh, goodness gracious.
It's I would hear stuff. They would come up to me and go like, hey, I saw your Lord Jesus and he was sucking my dick. I go, awesome. You know what? You know what? That's really funny because evolution is false and there's only two genders. And women are terrible at STEM. And they go, you gotta be canceled. We gotta destroy your career. I'm like, well, what about the Jesus sucking your dick thing? They're like, they want you to be tough about their language. And then I just turn it right around. I take what they find sacred and I use it with the same hostility. They talk about my values. And you fold, they buckle, and they show what they're made of.
Keanu Reeves has the best way to handle a lot of the stupidness online. There's a great quote when he goes, "Congratulations, you're absolutely correct. 2 + 2 = 5."
Yeah, that's good.
That's it.
That is good. You win.
Exactly. You won. Congratulations.
You won. There is such a thing as a square circle. Good job.
The internet is yours.
Like whenever I talk with these people, go ahead, Ken. You got the floor.
Sorry. It's funny that this topic comes up because one thing I've noticed with people who are in university, in college or in high school, or just getting out, your mid-20s, early 20s, late teens now. Not so much late teens. It's more your early 20s now, starting to get to late 20s. There's a certain expectation that isn't something that can be met. Like, I can't, you can't expect to never be offended. For example,
Right.
is one thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's always going to be something that's going to be offensive. There's no way you can't go through life and not be offended. I go through life every day with something I'm sure offending me. But at this point, I've set my threshold so high, it doesn't matter. And a lot of people have, I think, the way, because I didn't go to school straight out of high school. I worked, and then went through the military, and then I finally ended up going back to college. But I think the way that things are set up right now is it's not giving people the independence they need and the fortitude they need to be able to go out into the world, to be able to go out and do things. And I think that's part of where a lot of this cancel stuff is coming from. A lot of these people throwing out expectations that cannot be met. If I were to have a client come in and tell me these same things, well, I need all these people are doing this. Well, you're letting them control you, and you shouldn't let them control your emotions. You have control over how you feel.
Exactly.
You can bring that
Ken, do you think that this could be a fallout from the helicopter parenting and participation trophy? I've heard this comment before that we're so used to having our little bubble protected, and it's shattering to find other people just shockingly outside of our values. And so we demand that the world change to protect my feelings. Like I demand everyone change their opinion to mine, or I'm just going to throw a tantrum. Because this stuff didn't exist, even 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
This wasn't normalized in culture. The idea of canceling someone else because they're different, deeply different than you. And now it's like, destroy them. Okay. And then we'll have fun destroying them.
And I don't like the whole idea of canceling someone different because I enjoy different opinions. For example, I've watched you and Rakita do your streams where you talk specifically about religion. I'm not religious, but I still watch it. I still appreciate your work. It's just not my thing.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I can't like you. Doesn't mean I can't have a cordial conversation with you. I may disagree with the ins and outs if we get into the nuances, arguing it, whatever, but that's not what matters. It's not such a big deal. It's just a minor point. It's how you live your life, how I live mine.
Right.
Now, if it's impacting, if what you're doing impacts me, then yes, then I have a right to bitch about it, for lack of a better term. But
where has my religion impacted anyone? I mean, we all I have is like one vote. Is like the worst thing that my values are ever going to do to someone else. I'm not going to, I'm not going to throw a brick in your store window because I'm a Christian.
You didn't buy my book, bigot.
Yeah. And I mean, Antifa will, but I won't.
Oh.
I've got some jokes I'm going to hold back on.
Okay.
Probably best.
But, just because I don't want to get crumb already. Eat it off YouTube more than I already have.
We're already eating off of YouTube, so don't.
You will be. If I'm still coming here, you will be.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous game.
Hey, we're all going to get canceled off of YouTube. Okay. I welcome that day to my overlords. I'm saying I'm looking forward to getting kicked off your platform, Twitter and YouTube.
By the way, Jones.
Yeah. And Indiegogo and Kickstarter. When you have to do it, you do what you got to do. Kick me off. It's okay. You're weak. I'll survive.
Just shoot twice. That's all I ask. Just
twice. Well, it's funny because all of my backers that are like right wingers, I'm saying, hey, I'm over on Kickstarter, and they go take a look, and the first thing at the top of the page is a giant Black Lives Matter, and Kickstarter's changed their logo. And they're like, I'm not going to buy your book. I'm going, dude, I'm one of you. And they're like, so I'm going like, Kickstarter's going to cancel me. And then my right wing guys aren't going to buy the book because it's on Kickstarter / Black Lives Matter. We're funding, we're bailing criminals out of jail. We want to defund the cops. So I'm going, I get it from both sides.
It's true.
So it does impact your bottom line too.
It does, but life can, and this, life is not about the bottom line. I'm sure many of the unhappy people that you might counsel with, the amount of money might have nothing to do with one's joy and happiness. It usually has nothing to do with it.
Oh, I've said that before I even got into therapy. I'll use the example, if you can have a person who's dirt poor living on the street and someone who's a billionaire, and the billionaire is in a worse shape mental health wise than the poor person.
Yeah, the billionaire
Because
is the one who blows his own head off, and the homeless guy just talks to himself all day.
Not even that homeless guy, just like a homeless family. That homeless family with mom, dad, 2 kids, or whatever, mom, their kids, or dad and their kids. I've worked with homeless people who were literally on the street homeless.
Yeah, I have too.
I used to work at a homeless shelter before I, did clinical therapy. It was part of my, path to getting my degree and everything. And, I've seen people who were so happy to come into the shelters or to come into the churches or whatever places that they would be staying. And, you'd have people who are in worse shape and so much better off. And you have the opposite side where people,
you can take someone's money. There's a lot worse things you can do to take someone's money. And if I couldn't live with myself if I gave up my values and my soul, especially for money. I'm not for sale. I'm purchased by Jesus, so I'm not purchasable by peer pressure, looking good to the left, looking cool to Hollywood, believing the right things to my culture. I don't care.
Well, and to that point as well, it's like, even if you sell out to these individuals, they will stab you in the back and throw you to the curb faster than anything else.
Yeah. I got bad news for all you guys. I see all these woke comic artists going, "We hate Trump," and get them, guys, cancel these guys, but they're drawing voluptuous women. I'm going, dude, they're going to come for you. If you're coming, they're coming for you, buddy. Keep laughing, man. Keep laughing.
There's an illustrator named Scott
Campbell.
Scott Campbell. He is a fantastic illustrator. Been following his work for a long, long time.
Yeah.
But that poor son of a bitch constantly gets thrown underneath the SDW blah 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 bus all the time.
Yeah.
It's like it's really funny because people come out and say, "You draw your women too voluptuous with big boobs and butts and stuff like that, and that's horrible." And I can see Scott going, "What about the guys?
Yeah.
Are they okay? Is the package there? Is the ass, is it proportional, right?" It's like, well, we're not here to talk about that. It's like,
yeah.
Well, it does matter.
They're going, we want to remove comics from the patriarchy. Get them out. We want the guys out of your audience.
Yeah,
there's a double standard in that too, and
huge.
When I was working on my master's degree, because I've worked on it, it wasn't too long ago, and I'm probably more. I used to call myself conservative. I'm probably more libertarian than anything, though I don't like the libertarian label. I prefer constitutionalist, but whatever,
Canadian.
But it's the mental health field. The program I went through was 90% female. And the program itself, and it's not just the school I went to, it's the field in general is very progressive. And so I'm the odd man out. I had, one of the most memorable things I remember from my program was having a discussion on school bullying. And we had, because of the way the program was set up, you could get your master's by doing 5 years because of the way the program's set up, instead of having to do your 4-year bachelor, then 2-year master. And so you had people who would come out of high school, get their bachelor's, and then they would be jumping straight into their master's, and basically what their was second year. They jumped straight into their clinical year. And you could tell the people who worked and lived life and didn't go straight from high school to college into their master's program apart. You had people arguing. We had a discussion on school bullying in our human development class. People were talking, the one person was talking about, the school needs to do this, and we need the teachers and the principal to do this. And then my argument was, well, I think we need to get rid of zero tolerance policies because they prevent students from being able to protect themselves in the event that they do get attacked. Because I've been personally suspended for 10 days after I had the shit beat out of me.
Yeah.
The same guy got the same thing.
Really? Oh,
yep.
Wow.
Yeah, that happened. That was in 6th grade. And, guy beat the shit out of me. I got suspended for 10 days because everyone said I started it and I didn't. So they suspended us both for 10 days.
That's terrible.
I didn't even get a chance to throw a punch. And so it was whatever. My parents were like, "Did you start it? No. Okay, go enjoy your vacation." So my parents were cool with it. But
That's
not every
awesome.
parent is.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
You're going to have parents who are going to, possibly beat their kids. They're going to really, it's going to lean on them mentally. They're going to feel bad about it. It could cause the parents to be out of work, to be home for the kids and lose money. So you have all this stress there, all because the kid can't even put his arms up because it being construed as fighting. And when I mentioned this, people, I could watch it in their eyes and watch as they reacted. They didn't really think about that. I said, you can't rely on the school to do anything. You can't rely on the teacher to come, the principal to show up, a security guard to show up and break it up. In the end, you need to be able to take care of yourself because that's the only person who's going to really care.
Yeah.
And you could.
And every kid deep down knows at some point in school, all the adults are going to turn their head, and the kids are going to do what they want.
Fuck.
Oh, it happens.
It's like a prison shower. High school.
Prison
showers.
Doug.
Sooner or later, the guards are going to turn their head.
Just don't bring soap to school. It's more.
That's right. That's all I'm saying. Put it on a rope, guys. Put it on a rope.
Comparing a school to a prison shower, but we'll leave that alone for right now. So we'll just
my goodness, I remember high school sucking, but not.
I hated it.
Wow.
I got bullied.
I managed to just keep my head low, hang out with a couple of other nerds, made our movies, lived in our little bubble, and that was it. I was on the swim team. I don't look like it now, but
and those bullies, those big thugs, they might have pushed me. They might have punched me. They pulled my hair. They threw my face to the ground and stuffed dog poop in my mouth. But you know
what is wrong with those fucking people? Oh my god! Sorry,
fuck those guys.
Mr. Hop. You know what they didn't do?
What didn't they do? That's a long grocery list.
Trying to keep me from making a living on comics and keep me from feeding my family like SJWs did.
Well, I guess
that's of the two. I'd rather have a physically brutal person because they can only do so much harm.
It's true.
Yeah, the SJWs can do far. They can destroy your whole career.
Yeah, well, they can act like it happened yesterday when something was 20 years ago.
Yep.
Oh, I love it when those people say, "Have you seen this?" and they slip you like an actual documentation. You're reading this, going, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know this is taking place," and you're taking everything for face value. Then all of a sudden, the questions start popping up. When was this done? And you start looking for the date, and it's not there.
Yeah.
How odd.
Yeah.
We're in that like kind of, and I hate the term because it's such a meme now, but we're in that fake news era, where
fake is a fix.
we have so much false information flying around, and we're basing it strictly because social media is very much like a woman at this point, where social media.
Stop.
I mean,
every month.
I'm telling you to stop.
Every month.
No, I'm not going from that perspective. I'm saying from an argument perspective. Facts and evidence don't necessarily matter online. It's all about how emotional you can get your message across.
Yeah.
I feel horrible today. I want to destroy everybody.
When you look at it, I was just thinking about this. It was like a shower thought the other day. Was like how it's basically like how you treat, like how kids treat things, right? Like when you look at it, it's like kids don't necessarily tell the truth about things, but they'll start to cry or they'll start to pack on the emotions when they're not getting their way. Like I saw, I don't know what the heck it was. I think I was at work and this kid was just having a complete friggin' meltdown because they couldn't get this book that they wanted.
It was Earthworm Jim book, wasn't it?
That's right. It should be. It was Fight the Fish. I'm with you, kid.
The child's going, "Why, Mom? Why are you doing this? I just want the Dougie book."
Exactly. So this kid's having like an absolute fucking meltdown, and then like 2 seconds later, like because the parents saying, "Oh well, if don't worry, we'll go and get ice cream after this if you just behave." And it's perfectly just snap done, good.
Perfect.
So it's like we never grew out of that in social media, from what it seems like. It's just we've always gotten in the tantrum mode, and that's what things are right now.
Got your way, and that's how you fixed everything. Was you threw a tantrum,
and
you got the ice cream,
and got the ice cream. If they didn't get their way, the years and years of fun with those people.
And now you have an entire society of them.
Exactly. Right? Who knew?
That's everyone on Twitter now. There you go.
It's like you said earlier, Doug. It was the whole participation generation, like the participation ribbon. Like I was in grade 7 or 8 when they started introducing the participation awards, which I never understood that. Like that always was insulting to me. Like because I grew up competitive and like racing and stuff like that, track and field, and and when I was like racing with somebody, like I wanted to get the gold. I wanted to get number 1. I'm going to get number 2. I was just like disappointed with myself, but.
Set the school on fire.
But then they started introducing like ribbons, so like everybody gets a ribbon, and it's like, well, why are you doing that? Like, there's people that don't want to compete. There's people that don't care about putting effort into it, and there's people that want to participate and be competitive, and it's just like you're demeaning the whole process.
And what kid ever valued that ribbon?
No one ever did. No one ever did, and it cheapened when you actually won. Yeah, exactly. It collects dust. Like if I ever got a participation ribbon, it went straight in the garbage because like that just pissed me off. Like I'm like, I don't want a consolation prize. I want the damn top prize. Get out of here.
Second place is the first loser.
Exactly.
Oh, I haven't heard that in years, Doug.
Yeah. Second place is the first loser, we used to say.
But since we're all champions. You know,
right?
Yeah, everyone's a champion. Everyone's a superhero. That's
no, I'm talking about us, not them.
I don't remember where the heck this I heard this one from, but this was like I believe it was a teacher that was talking about how we're kind of like setting up our students to fail because we're teaching them through through public school, through high school now, and now in college, that everyone deserves a position. Everyone deserves exactly what they're asking for, exactly what they're looking for. But when it comes to it, it's like if you have a class of like 500 doctors and they graduate, you have doctors that graduated with 97s, you had doctors that graduated with 72s, and you have doctors that graduated with 51. And at the end of the day, it's like, when you're looking at it, it's like, okay, well, not everybody has the same aptitude. And there are only so many positions out there. And when it comes down to it, if you have to choose between the person who passed 97 and the person who passed 51, I mean, like 100 times out of 100, I would choose the person that passed with 97. But our world is setting up so that we have to have people who are not qualified just because of X, Y, or Z, just to signal to certain things.
Just because they're not from India.
Yeah.
They couldn't cut the class. They couldn't make it. Yeah, I want the best doctor curing my kid of cancer. I don't care if that doctor's an SJW or Bill Cosby. If he invented the cure for cancer and my kid has cancer, I'll take it. I don't care what you believe. It's the work is the true meritocracy. Is we should look at the work. Does the work make me laugh? Is it good? And the rest is just personal. It's just personal.
Exactly. And I think as a society, we're allowing emotions to override logic way too much.
Sure.
I mean, like Star Trek friggin' warned us of this, right? With the Romulans? Romulans.
It's like Star Trek warned us. You're absolutely correct. But new Star Trek just dives right into it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
New Star Trek cancels everything old Star Trek taught us.
Exactly. It's like, hey, remember the old stuff talking about hope and positivity and just doing the right thing for the sake of the right thing. Welcome to STD, Star Trek Discovery.
Oh my goodness.
Fuck all that. We're gonna pull people's
Whoever was in
eyes
charge of naming it should have thought about that.
Are you ready for this? I think they did.
Yeah.
I really, really think they did. I can see a bunch of people getting together and saying, "All right, this show sucks. How can we tell people that? Well, what about the name? Well, we're going to call this thing. How about we'll call the ship Discovery? Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
And we'll put Star Trek in front of that. Get it?
I think
it was the entire writing room said, "What's wrong with an STD? We all have STDs." They go, "Yeah, okay."
Oh,
You go, "Okay."
Joe is an
Fair enough.
STD. My goodness.
Don't STD shame, Doug.
Try not to.
yeah, Douglas,
So-
we're getting you out of the
Yeah. Sorry, Chris.
cancel.
I'm a
I didn't mean to
Yes,
offend you,
STD.
Chris.
The STD community wants to speak with you.
Behind the woodshed.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness! But, like, seriously though, like looking at all of this stuff, it's like some people are saying in chat, like we used to be a society that prided ourselves on bringing our best forward, and now we're just kind of catering to the lowest denominator, not even the lowest common denominator anymore. But like I am the first one to say yes. Let's be inclusive. Let's get people of color. Let's get everything else. Whatever. Like, do it. But I'm also going to say let's get qualified people, because there are a lot of people of color that are more qualified than certain individuals. Like, do I think that a Zoe Quinn or an Anita Sarkeesian, do I think that they're talented? Not really. I don't think they are. I think there are many other women and people of color that would do far more and far better than they do, and they should get a chance. Go ahead, Ken.
Oh, I was just laughing. You're good.
Oh.
Sorry.
I was just laughing. None of that.
Robot Ken is developing.
He's getting emotions.
Yeah, he's like Hugh from Next Generation, the Borg, who developed conscience.
Or B4. Oh, who remembers that? That's a big pile of mess right there.
There are plenty of people of color that are extremely talented that get shut down and overshadowed because they don't scream loud enough, or they don't scream at all, because that's the way to get your way right now.
Well, and if you're a talented person of color, it's a huge insult to say, "Hey, let's get you on this writing team because we need some color in here," instead of because you kick ass and you're good and you're the best I've ever seen. It's such an insult to hire by intersectional qualities. It's a huge compliment if you make it because of your merit. That's it's mean to hire someone for other reasons.
It's so true. My goodness.
It's like I saw a tweet or something. I can't remember. It was within the last week or two. And it was a company that was like, we're looking to hire black writers or people of color writers or something. And I think they were based in the US or the UK, which both have very strict laws on discrimination.
Yeah.
Based on race. And it's like, we're seriously trying to hire, someone based on their race. Not about, and that, I would never want someone to hire me because of anything of my gender, any sexuality, my race, none of that. I want my work to stand out for me.
Exactly.
And that just might be my growing up. And, it's also hard to transfer. And this is an argument, because I like to argue the counter on this too, because we have a lot of people, we have the quote unquote cancel culture people pushing all this stuff. Now, if, I've used the example before when I was in my grad program, talking about someone who may the unintentional racist, like the quote, for example, the hypothetical old white lady who's like, "You're pretty for a black girl," like those things that you would see. That's how they grew up. That's all they're exposed to. That doesn't mean they really believe that. That's just they don't realize what they're doing sometimes. I think that does happen. I don't know if it's the majority of the time, but I do know it's a thing. So if we look at it, it's not just regarding race, it's also regarding your beliefs in general. So if everyone over the last, the 5-10 years previous, all the people turning adults, this is what they know. They don't really understand the other side of it. And
also,
like I argue with people,
they're not being challenged too.
There's a part of it, but you also have to, like I said on my streams before, you have to be able to argue the other side of it. And that's how you get people to come over to your side. You do it respectfully, screaming and telling someone you're a racist, you're a sexist, you're this or that. You're not going to get someone to just suddenly change their mind. You got to walk them through it. It's a little bit of hand holding, but that's kind of needed if you want to start getting people over. I've wasted, I wouldn't call it wasted, but I've spent hours on Facebook or Twitter talking with people just to let them see other points of view. And eventually they get there. Some of them don't. But sometimes they'll get there, and it gives them a new perspective on life, and hopefully will be the catalyst for them maybe determining something better for themselves or end up being helpful for them. But you have to do that. You have to put in that effort. And I don't see that coming from the other side for people who want us to, go towards, the more progressive or more, cancel culture things. Like, where is my buy-in? Like, why should I cancel someone? Like, why should I cancel Doug? Where's my reason for cancel Doug? Oh, he's a Christian? Okay, I don't care about that.
Yeah.
Well, he's doing, no, that doesn't matter. It's not impacting me. Now, is he suddenly turning his Earthworm Jim and comics into Christian things? And that
right. If I started putting in scriptures and using it to witness to people, which I still would expect, hey, Christians might like it, but I'd expect a lot more of the audience to say, that's not what I'm looking for in the world of Earthworm Jim. It's still my right to put in there, but it's just not. I just wouldn't expect,
your audience to like.
Yeah. But notice these same people, they never have a problem if you ever read a story that has, say, environmentalism in it. That's a divisive topic, and they'll preach that all day. They'll go, "Oh, the bad guys are going to, or the world is being destroyed through too much pollution, and it's, the world is falling apart." When I read that, that's someone else putting their scriptures in a story.
Yep.
I read ideology in stories all the time.
Yeah, I mean, just because it's not preached in a church doesn't mean it's not a scripture, right?
Yeah.
You're looking at that stuff. I mean, like it's goes back to when I first reached out to you, Doug. I got a lot of pushback from a lot of people.
Yep.
From some people very close to me too, saying like, "Well, why would you even do this? And why would you even consider going on? He said this, he said that, blah blah blah." It's like, okay, well, I can go and have a conversation with the man, and if he's an asshole to me, then I can make my own decision.
Well, and all my friends can also say,
"Heaven forbid."
Doug, my friends can also say, "Doug, you're stupid for believing that," and I disagree. Yeah. They're allowed it doesn't mean we don't love each other. It just means you can have I have just friends that just profoundly disagree with me on everything. And it doesn't mean that I won't buy him a drink. I can't have cigars. I won't hire you and pay you a ton of money to work for me. It's like, why do you have to treat people like someone who disagrees with you, even on deeply held beliefs?
Exactly.
The idea that you have leprosy now or something is just not.
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Because, even though we can disagree and be adults about things, and I'm.
Yes.
Ends back. Here we go.
Oh, there we go.
That one's on me. That one's on me.
Okay, that one was me.
See, I own up to my mistake.
Ken got a little heated.
Okay, that one was me.
Ken rage quit.
I hit the back button on my mouse.
Oh no!
Yep.
Ken. Not just disrupt the flow here. Like every time we're doing a show now, it's one extra thing. It's the microphone, the computer, the internet. Now it's the mouse. Keyboard's next. We know the keyboard's
the mouse happened on the
Ken
first
said he
interview I did with you
streamed.
guys,
I'm just wondering how in the world you ever managed to stream all these.
It's magic. It's rainbows and butterflies and potatoes and bats.
I send each 0 and 1 through the postal service, and hopefully it gets to the internet somehow.
That makes sense too.
That's why we're supporting the USPS right now. So.
He puts the leash on the cats that carry the internet across the intertubes.
I don't trust cats with that.
And that's why you're having problems.
Work way better. Squirrels and pigeons work better.
Exactly. But yeah, no,
squirrels riding pigeons.
But yeah, no, I reached out to Doug after I saw him on Ricada's live stream there, and I got like a lot of pushback from a lot of people, like for the tenacity to wrong think and reach out and possibly make someone not a monster. I don't know. When it comes down to it, I'm sorry, Doug, but when it comes down to you being the next Hitler, I think you fall about 50 yards short.
9.
Bummer. I'll have to work on my mustache.
You have to look at the Douglas, yeah.
Gotta work on it. But no, it's honestly like people need to start talking, and they need to stop. Like it comes down to people not being able to debate, and they just default because they've been so lazy and they've been so conditioned on like this is what they need to do, and if someone doesn't agree with it, oh well, they need to kick and scream and have a complete pants shitting meltdown about like holy crap.
Yeah,
I mean, we see the stuff
the Kick Vic stuff, on both sides of that. I've seen them just find a level of delicious relish in destroying someone. Like they just, it looks like just a weird human nature thing where, you know what, you just want to go and just dismantle someone's entire life. And I don't get that.
I don't understand it either. And the funny part about this entire thing, because I've discussed this before, and I've brought it up a number of times. I don't think that some of these individuals are affiliated with either side. I mean, they might wear the jersey,
right?
They might like put the jersey on for 5 or 10 days or whatever else, but I don't think they're actually invested. They just want to see a body. That's all they want to see.
Yeah, they're a lot of them. They're anonymous, and they look for internet drama, and they go, "That's a place where I can go in and kick as hard as I want." And you can tell they get kind of high on it. They're going from, they go to Nick's show, they run into Comicsgate, they go to Dick Masterson's audience, and then it's going to start stirring crap up and start destroying people. Random, always behind anonymity.
I wonder if it's because the age of social media and the amount of highly contentious politics that we've seen.
Yeah,
because like back before the age of the internet, politicians were they were mild compared to what we have now. I mean, like I'm sure they were fairly salacious, but we don't know all the details. But now we have people bringing up stuff like, "Oh my goodness, like Justin Trudeau wore blackface like 30 years ago," and "Oh my goodness, blah blah blah."
He was stupid.
So you look at all that stuff, it's like, well, what the heck? But you have this age of the internet where now you look at all of the old political attack ads that people used to pay money for, right? They used to pay good money to make ridiculously like the worst possible things you could say about your opponent just to make people be like, "Oh my goodness," and clutch pearls. Now that has transformed into how people operate on social media versus each other.
Yeah.
It's just everything is just like, well, I am going to destroy this person. I'm going to make this a game. Like these people aren't real. These people don't exist, and they dehumanize and they attack and dehumanize people so they can just go to bed feeling good. Like I heard an individual on the Dick Masterson's show the other day say how he wouldn't call somebody a pedophile unless he could shoot them and then sleep well at night.
Yeah,
like that to me. And I mean, Ken, I'll get your take on that statement. As a therapist,
but me one more time so I make sure I understand it correctly, because I thought I heard it a certain way and I want to make sure I heard it right. No,
sure. He said,
I'm laughing, but I'm dead serious.
Okay. And then after that, I have a question for Doug. So
sure. So he said, if I was going to call someone a pedophile, it would be somebody that I could shoot and sleep well that night.
Okay.
So like from like a mentality standpoint, like I can't think of anybody that I would just outright think about murdering. Just casually, even if it's
small list.
I mean, even if there was people that I could think of, like, you know what, I could just murder that person right now. I would still feel bad about it. Like
you'll get over it.
Like, I mean, like Dick Masterson said, like, because this individual brought up Ricada and you, Doug, in the big, because I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Brought up and tried to use your Christianity as some sort of bizarro flex on this topic against Dick Masterson.
Yeah.
Saying like, well, all these individuals, these people's lives don't have value. They don't deserve to be alive.
Yeah.
And it's like, hold on a second. Like that's getting down a line of like, you really should check in, because that's
sit down for a few
you need
minutes.
a therapist.
You need a therapist. Take a look at that.
Relax a little
bit.
What do you think about that one, Ken?
That's damn, that's a lot to process.
That's hardcore. That's hardcore.
Well, no. So it's funny because I know this is all surrounding the whole. I think Cuties is whatever the hell it's called on Netflix.
Yeah.
That drama. So I've
there was that.
I don't want to deal with that too much.
Yeah, the thing with Dick Masterson, I think, happened before the Cuties thing blew up. So the whole other conversation was about how this one individual thought another person was a pedophile, and
this is about the Ralph retort, Ethan Ralph.
It wasn't directly about Ralph. It was about somebody else. It was about Lolicon. That's what it was about.
Oh,
okay.
God.
And Dick did that on a show he addressed Lolicon on a show.
Well, yeah, and Dick made like an off-color joke like a week ago about Lolicon, about him having about making a punishment about having him beat off to Lolicon or something like that. Just like completely tongue-in-cheek. And people were trying.
Oh, crumb!
And people were trying to
tongue-in-cheek when you're talking about Lolicon.
Were you?
I said. It's like, oh my God, crumb.
That was unfortunate.
But he was talking about that, and people were trying to make it out so that make it seem like Dick was a pedophile and he was supporting pedophiles, which I don't
ridiculous.
Think. I don't think is the case.
Ridiculous. That's funny.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
You can say a lot of stuff about Dick
the
Masterson.
jokes just keep coming, don't they?
Yeah.
Say a lot of stuff about Dick Masterson, but I don't think that's true at all.
No.
Awesome. I wouldn't call Dick a pedophile or anything like that. And this is something I've seen. We're on this topic because it's actually an area of interest of mine from the mental health side. Sex offenders, and specifically, for example, one of the things I did in my grad program was a paper. One of the things they made, like I had to do a research paper, a presentation for some class, and I got stuck doing. It basically was about juvenile sex offenders, and so kids under the age of 18 who sexually offended against another minor, is what that is. Just to clarify, for anyone listening. So the amount of ability, the chance of recovery and never having another incident like that again is stupid high. Like recidivism for juvenile sex offenders is lower than any other crime for juvenile.
Wow.
That is the lowest recidivism rate of any other crime for a juvenile. If you get into therapy and you process it, it's unlikely to occur again. There are treatment programs for adults who, if they, not either, because you could sexually offend and not be a pedophile.
Right.
Just like you could be a pedophile and not sexually offend. But
sure.
For example, if someone's got pedophilic disorder, so they are attracted to someone under the age of 18 or someone.
Doesn't mean they acted out on it.
They don't have to act out on it. They can get treatment. They can have outlets if it's legal in their country, like Lolicon. Whether that's morally okay with you, that's up to you.
Totally immoral. But go ahead.
That's again up to each person to decide. As long as it's legal, that's up to you to decide whether or not you want to look at that. And if that helps that person, then so be it. As long as it's not being used in an inappropriate way where it's causing them more distress or causing other people distress. So like them doing that, looking at it, isn't impacting your day to day, impacting my day to day, and it's not making their problems worse. So for that, so you can have someone who is who has offended, who does have pedophilic disorder, and there are treatment programs that reduce the likelihood of recidivism over like 5 years and 10 years to like really good numbers. I think the likelihood of recidivism was maybe 20% max. I have to look up the studies. I've had trouble finding them. I gotta go dig my papers up. But the chances of recidivism can be pretty low if they get the right types of treatment.
So for the audience, recidivism is a repeat offender.
Yes, thank you. So they're unlikely to do it again. They learn because you learn how to deal with your feelings, you deal with your emotions. You go to therapy, you find other outlets for your sexual energy, and you don't put yourself in situations where you would end up likely to offend. And that's basically what you learn through the course of therapy. There's ways to do it. There's digging into your own traumas, why there might be that there. That's a whole deep load of shit to go into. But there's one way to approach it. So I don't think, could someone be a pedophile but never have offended and you'd be okay with shooting them at night and go to sleep at night being okay? That's because that person may have never hurt someone. That person,
Exactly.
or they may have, and they are repenting. They are feeling horrible for what they did, or they did it as a kid, or they were a teenager. They did something stupid, or they were put into a bad situation. They ended up having to do it or forced into it, and they don't want to like that, and they don't like those feelings. That's something that happens. So could you morally shoot someone just because they have that problem?
Well, the thing is, the ones who were shot, and I've known of cases. There was one where I grew up, the San Joaquin Valley, where the guy got off with the judge, and the dad went out and shot the offender. And
oh, wow.
There are crimes that if you commit them, let's say that's one of them, or rape. I mean, someone's daddy is going to come after you.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm only saying.
You better.
I don't think it's unreasonable for that to happen. Because that's just the way people do things. If someone was drunk driving and vehicularly manslaughter, killed your wife, people do things. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I completely agree. Well, the
argument, they have such thing as a crime of passion. Exactly. That word has meaning.
Well, the argument
people get off. Oh, go ahead, Grum.
Yeah, sorry. The argument was that in this person's opinion that was trying to argue with Dick about it was that in their view pedophiles are irredeemable, that even if they haven't offended, they're dangerous to everybody, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah, I don't believe that about anybody, by the way.
I don't think that about anybody.
That was Dick's point of view as well.
Because Dick very very eloquently brought up that because you were brought into this conversation.
How did I get brought into it?
Doug, you're
how in the
world? Good conversations.
Was it because I was laughing at Dick's joke about that whole thing, or
you were laughing at Dick? Yeah,
I don't remember exactly what it was. I think it was something along the lines of like, oh, you're friends with Ricada and who are very Christian and blah blah blah, and the Christian thing it's not a very Christian thing to like lolly and support pedophiles and blah blah blah. And Dick's counterpoint, you can agree or disagree with this, was that Dick's counterpoint was it's actually a very Christian thing to forgive and try to bring these people back. It's like from a pedophile's perspective, it's like this has been something that's been inflicted upon them. Like they didn't choose to be pedophiles. This is an urge that they can't control, and they're in an immense amount of pain. And to just constantly say like these people are terrible, they're worthless, they don't deserve to live, etc., etc. He's like, that's going to cause them to kill themselves. He's like, and as much as you might enjoy that, the person who's talking to you is like, as much as you might enjoy that, it's like from a perspective, he went into the perspective of Jesus and saying, it's like, oh my God, like I see the pain and suffering, I see the struggle that you're with, for the love of God, we're going to keep you away from children, we're going to keep you away from schools, we're going to do everything as a society to keep you away from these people so that you can heal, you can get better, you can not offend and that stuff. So that was perspective from it.
Yeah,
it was. I thought I'm butchering it horribly, but I thought he did it.
You're hitting the right points, though. I'm not. Yeah. I'm not back going, what are you talking about, Crumb?
It's like I thought he had a very eloquent response to that. Nick's
coming out to visit me this month. He's going to be at my house at the end of the month. He's going to bring the whole family's coming over. We're going to have a hoo-ha together here.
They're going to eat all your food. Careful.
Yeah, I will. He's going to drink all my alcohol.
Exactly.
Nick and drink every ounce.
Rip. He spent like the entire month in Florida, so he's a Florida man now.
That's right. He's going to come back
what
even
part of
weirder.
Florida is he in?
Doesn't matter. It's Florida.
I think he was near. I think he was like around Tampa Bay area.
Oh, really?
I think.
Is he just doing hardcore vacation? Is it a family thing? I think he's coming by here on the way back. Is what he's doing.
Yeah. Family thing in Florida, visiting his parents and brought the grandchildren, stuff like that.
He was mentioning that he was in the same area that Gothic Sushi's in, and he might hang out with her, which I think was the Tampa Bay area. So.
Okay.
So I do have a question for Douglas here.
Hit it,
Doug. It's going to be a hardball question for you.
I love hardball.
Awesome, and Crumb just give me the floor here. I would like to know what type of ink that you're using on your current illustration, because the thing is that me doing comic book stuff, the back of your hand here gets all black after a while because you're working so hard, and I'm noticing that you're not smudging.
This is all pencil that's coming up. This is not ink.
Of course. Graphite. Lovely fucking invention. But what type of ink are you using, paper, and also type of brush you're using?
Sure. So let me clean my brush real quick.
Sorry for the 180 question there, guys.
No, this is like one of my top questions people ask, because I get it. You want to get the right supplies if you want to give it a shot.
Yeah.
This is a Winsor Newton Series 7 brush, size 3. I don't know if the text, it's really out of focus, but size 3. Some guys use a size 2 all the way down to size 0. I like the size 3 because when you want to lay it down, to get something dark, I can go. So right now it's just loaded up with ink and water. I can go like this. I can put this brush down, lay it on its side, and I can get a brush, a pretty big stroke. That's about ½ inch long stroke. Yeah. I can also go back and re-roll this brush. Rolling is when you try and reform the tip by it's rolling like this. See, so I'm re-tipping it. And now I can go in and I can get a hair's width on these lines.
Amazing.
So
one of the few things about kids getting involved in this stuff, especially doing it not on a tablet or anything else like that, is usually go out and buy the art pens and stuff like that. But as Jack Kirby always said, if you can master the brush, you have everything.
It's true. This thing can get down to the pen's width, but I do use tech pens if I want. I use these. These are microns. This is what a lot of people use. They're so. They're cheap. You can buy a 5-pack at your craft store or on Amazon.
$100.
Yeah. It's not even that. It's a 5-pack for probably $15.
Oh, I was just kidding, because usually buying everything in an art store is like, oh look, it only costs us $1. Sell it for $40.
Yeah, I buy there's another brand of tech pen. These are Unipens.
Yeah.
I use Rapidograph. These are from the 80s.
Oh yeah.
Rapidograph Koinors. I use these for my panels because I like a nice mechanical line, but I've seen people use the brush to do their panel lining. Yeah. And then the ink that I use, and I have all different brands all around me, but this is the one that actually is made for this pen. It's a technical drawing ink called Rapidograph ink. And I buy these in 10 packs. So I've got these bottles laying around everywhere. And this is a permanent ink. I can ink this page and I can pour water on it and the ink won't move.
Oh, that's amazing. That's awesome. So basically it's not water based then.
That's right. This is true India ink. It stains. It flat out stains. It dries in seconds.
That's amazing.
It's permanent. And then if you make a mistake, you can go back over. So this is a Higgins Black Magic. This is the same thing. This is also a fast holding, stains the paper. Here's another brand over here. There's another one that I've used. This is Speedball. Yeah. This is a cheaper brand. I don't like it as much, but it's still permanent. And then here's another brand that I've used. This is called Carbon Ink. This is from Japan. This is like Rolls Royce, really high-end ink. And I don't even use it that often. I just like
And the prices?
What's that?
And the costs for the different type
this one's the worst by far, because this one's from Japan. Probably $35 for this bottle. Wow. These are all going to be probably 10 and under, probably $6. Okay. This one's probably $6 to $8. Depends if you get it on Amazon or if you get it from an art store. It's $5 to $8. And the prices are all over the place if you shop.
And what is the type of paper that you use? Because that's also very important. Thanks.
This is Canson. So this is a pad that I get. You can get these at the store also, or from Amazon. The brand is Canson. Sometimes they'll throw this sub brand on called Fanboy for comics. Okay. It's the same cover. Yeah. And this is comic book art boards. It says this is 11 by 17 inch, 150 pound. They only make 150 pounds. So that's really thick. That's the weight of it. And the pages already have the comic borders blue lined on them.
Oh, that's cool.
Here.
All right.
So you can see this the inner line is your text safe. So that's where all your dialogue would go. The outer line, this is where your art you want to keep it within. Has blue lines over for this outline. Outside line is the crop. That's where the printing press will cut your page when they put it in a book.
Yep. Bleed line.
So, and then finally for whiteout and for correction, I'll usually use this big giant Presto monster whiteout thing. These are a mess, but they throw down black. It'll paint white on any surface. It'll cover anything. And then for smaller detailed stuff, I get these are little jelly roll pens. They don't throw down as much white ink.
Okay.
Not as much, but like if I wanted to come back in and I go, oh, this line is kind of being lost here, I want to build it back up again, I can just throw a white line on that and it'll build it. It'll hold it a little better to separate this foreground from the background.
Amazing. Yeah, I'm really sorry, guys. I didn't want to.
No, it's fine. And then for penciling,
again,
this is the pencil I've used. This is what I did Earthworm Jim with back in 1993. This is a Pentel size 0.9. That's a pretty thick lead. Most people use 0.5 or 0.7. I use 0.9 to really throw down some lead when I want to.
Yeah.
And it has a really nice gum erase on the back of the thing that'll help lift, but these get worn out pretty quick.
Of course.
So I also use, here's my box of erasers. This is the eraser I use.
Yeah.
This is also from Pentel.
Yeah.
These will pull the pencil right out from under the ink.
Yeah.
And so it really cleans up well. It's a beautiful page. No matter how hard I push down, I scrub with that pencil and I can always pull it back out with an eraser.
That's amazing. So you don't use blue pencil at all when you do your work?
I don't at all. I really don't like and now they have kind of a graphite blue.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's not as, it gets real waxy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. Yeah. Oh.
Then the ink doesn't want to draw over it.
It doesn't, because basically, if you put it in this perspective, you're using a wax filament,
right?
And then you're using a liquid that doesn't work with wax because it's plastic, and they got like the confusing stuff.
It's like drawing over crayon. It doesn't want to take the ink after that. So
like how odd.
If you're going to use a pen, then you want to use like a felt marker that soaks into the paper, but then you can't erase it. Yeah. They do have more graphite style blue line pencils that you can use that act a little more like pencil than the chalk, but I just find them messy. And then if someone buys an original from me, I want it to look like a beautiful piece of art that they hang. Definitely. The ones that have blue line under them, they have that weird little ghosted blue sketchy layer under it. Sitting there on the paper.
It's so fascinating. Yeah. Look, this is so interesting to see and just get this like real-time feedback about this kind of stuff. Like, my goodness, like this is the type of stuff that you would get at like a Comic-Con, right? Yeah. Like you get that type of interaction with an artist at like a Comic-Con, and you're getting it now in this format, like
right here on the show. It'd be terrible to talk about comics and not actually go over some of this stuff. So it's good. Yeah. We did our job.
Yeah.
So good. Now, like, I know that you like to frequent San Diego Comic-Con. Did you get a chance to see the virtual stuff or participate in the virtual stuff?
I saw some of it. I saw some of it and it was so lame.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
It's like watching the Democratic National Convention. It's like you're going to need a little more production value, Comic-Con, if you're going to try and pull off.
Well, so those Republicans really got the actual fireworks and stuff like that.
That's right. But at least get some fireworks in there.
One nice comment here from the Ragnarok Night for you, Doug. That's inspiring. It says, I'm an amateur artist and I have yet to even start drawing with blue pencils or pens. If I can draw like yourself, then I will keep at it with pencil alone. So there you go.
Yeah, pencil's great. And by the way, there are guys who draw their pencils neat enough and hard enough that you can just scan the pencils in Photoshop, go to curves and threshold it up so that the pencil basically goes to the blackest black ink and you could technically ink with pencils.
Oh wow!
And the funny thing is, none of this stuff existed back in the 90s because you had to break your back over your board. Another
That's
question I asked Doug is that how's your love of Zipatone or Letra-Sets, if you will?
I really love Zip. I don't use it myself purely just for time constraints, but I really love Zipatone.
Yeah,
I'm an 80s, artist, and saw all those punk rock band posters and T-shirts. Ooh,
yeah. I remember the first time I used Zipatone; it was everywhere. Oh my god!
Yep. It's actually hard to find now, but I would love to do. And you can drop it in Manga Studio now. You can just blow Zipatone all over your work.
Yeah. It's just
the physical media is just so much funner.
No, it definitely is. And it's hard to master, but once you have it down pat, it's just amazing. One of the things
it's hard to edit. So that's the one thing digital gives you undo, lets you drop panels all around and change the pacing and everything. But if I'm doing 320 pages a year. So I'm doing 260 page books a year. I basically live at this table. I don't want to live at a computer screen. I want to live at this table.
Yeah, because McFarlane and some of the image guys, they really use their tablets and stuff like that. And some of the stuff they produce is absolutely fantastic to look at, but there's just that certain quality that's just not there. Like the line is great and all, but it doesn't pop. Like the whole image works and works well. It's just something's just really missing from the
And if you're going to buy an original piece of art, don't you want to buy an original Todd McFarlane and not a bunch of pixels?
Exactly.
But I love putting the original art in the hands of my fans.
So I could really look at that Zipatone.
People are wondering what Zipatone is for the non-comic artists.
I
almost want to say use your favorite internet search engine and check it out. But Doug, do you want to tell them?
Zipatone are the dots.
Yeah.
They're art dots on the art.
It's in manga. If you see lots of manga stuff, all those little dots with the action lines and different variants of darkness and stuff like that. That's where that comes from. Sometimes when you have Zipatone, you can actually change it in different directions. You get different effects from it, which is also pretty cool as well. Saves hours and hours of doing pen work and stuff like that. But at the same time, that's
it lets you put dots over a whole area, and you cut it out with an X-Acto blade, and you stick it down like a sticker. So there's a transparent area, and then there's dots, and you can get all different varieties of Zipatone. And it just has a really neat look to it. So if I wanted to separate this bone, this is Psychro's decrepit bone shoulder. Let's say I put a light Zipatone on it, it'd be like a dot pattern. It'd be even across the whole thing. I'd cut it out with my X-Acto blade and put the sticker down on there. And there's a background that's transparent, so you'd see the art come through, and the dots would be on top of it as a unified gray, and it would just really hold that on its own and separate it out from the rest of the art. That's what it's used for. And they used to do it in old-timey comics a lot.
Yeah, I was about to say before, the whole auspices of doing stuff with the computer, how it used to be printed is that it was done through a web press. And the thing is, look how things are printed. They're all printed in series of very, very small dots. But however, you're going to go so small until it just starts mudding together type of thing. But the thing is, it gave different variants of shade, technique.
There was no such thing as gray ink.
Exactly.
All you could do is lay down small increments of black ink in the form of dots, and then you'd create a gray.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. No, this is all like fascinating stuff. Like honestly, this is like really cool stuff. Again, like that you would only get at like a Comic-Con, this type of interaction. Now we're getting it like right in our living rooms. It's changed the game so much for so many different things. It's definitely changing how we're looking at conventions. It's I know that right now the big thing, the big fad right now is to have online conventions, virtual conventions.
Sorry, which you already know. You know to counter program that, what you're going to come up with.
Oh yeah,
beer and ribs.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
That's like, hey, you didn't come to the show.
And you watch. What if your numbers go up? What if your numbers go up, and then everyone else sees you do it, and they'll go, "Oh, you know what? We're going to do it their way because it worked." You could actually change the culture of conning to go go to something more humane and more fun.
The funny thing is that we're now an officially medium-sized event initiative, because the thing is that, again, our last numbers was over 10K. No problem. Then we had kids like everywhere. It was awesome. Of course, we brought the Vic. So when you
That's
got
right.
that cocked and loaded in your programming schedule, it's going to get everywhere really, really quick. Yeah. And on top of that, all those people who wanted to cancel me, crumb the event, or our actual staff members or volunteers, it just added more to our eviction, as well as our
they made the mistake of making you angry. Now they woke you up.
Exactly. Well, it's more than just that, because the thing is that one of the things you know about Doug is that there's no such thing as bad press.
Yep.
If they're talking about you.
Yeah, because basically the people that hate you, they're going, okay, fine, thanks for telling me. Now I won't go. But the people that like,
anyways.
Yeah, but the people that like you, they all go, wait, I like them and I want to go. Thanks for telling me about it.
And the people that never heard of us went, you know what? We'll just show up and see what all this hubba's about.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, like, we could advertise every day of the year, and we'll still have people be like, I never realized that there was a convention in Kitchener.
Oh, fuck, yes. Yeah. We still have, like again, before KCC was EMC, Immico's Mini Convention, and we heard over and over again, said, we didn't know there was an anime convention in town.
Where have you been?
This is so awesome. This is great. And again, we're dealing, it's called Immico's Mini Convention. So I'm expecting that. Not a problem. Roll out the PR saying we've been here for a while. Yada, 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 no problem. Then all of a sudden Kitchener Comic-Con grows up. And it's like, Kitchener has its own Comic-Con? It's like, yeah. How long have you been running for? Well, we're going in our 6/7th year. They went, what? It's like, yeah. No. Here comes the punchline. This is the Shoppers Drug Mart right beside City Hall.
Exactly.
Wow.
The people that should know.
Exactly. You could expect like 6 blocks this way, 12 blocks that way, yada, yada, yada. But it's like, nope. The people right next door to City Hall go, there's a comic convention? They go, that's amazing. And the thing is that my next words are, it's free.
Yeah.
As some people online would say, panties stop dropping at that point in time.
That's right.
And they're just there.
And you would think, like, honestly, this is probably one of the better models that have come out in the recent years. Is look at the San Diego Comic-Con. Imagine how much people paid for advertising.
It's outrageous.
Unreal. Right? Like,
just to have 1/8 of that crumb. Imagine.
And I was saying, like, I was musing this to Mr. Hop a little while back. It's like, imagine how much that's going to affect things now going forward because of how atrocious the San Diego Comic-Con online convention was.
Yeah.
And now people that have spent like hundreds of thousands of dollars in advertising because they expected it to just carry water because of the name, it fell through and they wasted all that money. Like, we see that stuff locally because we had conventions that were not run exceptionally well, and we managed exceptionally well and whatever else. And they have guests and they book guests and they treat their guests poorly, and we're the ones to suffer for it because they don't run a convention the next year, and we do, and we're looking for guests. And they're like, well, I don't want to go to Kitchener because Kitchener doesn't come out and support or X, Y, Z.
Well, and how long can San Diego remain
a long time
the biggest, best Comic-Con in the world if they're going to do it online? And suddenly you could technically compete with them and do, I know you're not going to do an online one, but what's to stop you from doing a bigger online convention than San Diego? Well, anyone could.
This is the thing. First off, I just want to say is that we're saving up our toonies and our loonies for next year's event already. So we're basically putting that off the side right there. Because, unlike San Diego Comic-Con, when they have gross amounts of advertising and sponsors, sponsorship packages.
Well, we've always been under the tent of, online conventions are great, but they should not be a replacement. They should be a supplement.
Well,
it's like you have people that are physically there at the event enjoying themselves, and you have the people that are at home and they're like, man, I really wish I could be a part of that amazing experience. Then you give them the online component so that they can be.
Yeah.
You don't replace that. You don't take that
and
away
also
from
not either or.
Exactly. And the thing is that this is what a lot of these major conventions, even our own backyard, just don't understand. How can you conduct an online convention? How can you get involved with the smells, the touch, the tactile aspects of stuff like that? If you're sitting at home, you can't. You have to go out and see the peoples. You have to go out and basically rummage through the dealer's area, basically be in awe and amaze at the artist alley and stuff like that, because you just can't broadcast that vibe. And that's where San Diego Comic-Con completely screwed up, because it's like they didn't have no idea what they were doing. Like they had over 100 panel tracks for their event, and like they're broadcasting it. It's like what?
And this is what I mean. It's like you're flooding the content. You have like 10 different panels going at the exact same time. Of course, they're all on YouTube or Twitch or whatever else.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, it's like if you're getting these big name people, like if you're getting a McFarlane or whatever to do a panel, what's stopping him from starting his own YouTube channel and just doing what you do, Doug?
Right. That's what I mean. Is it's just it's redundant.
It's completely redundant.
So it will. I'll be shocked. I mean, I'm sure. I know the San Diego Comic-Con people. I'm sure they'll adjust to keep the terrible online convention from remaining terrible. You know, everyone's going to have to reinvent it. Figure it out.
The big thing is that, again, I want to jump on that wagon with you, but I just can't. And here's why. One of the few things that we've been talking about to this particular broadcast, we're talking about the difference of running an actual stage production, like basically doing theater, and then jumping into how do you conduct live television.
Yeah.
They're two different disciplines. And those people just don't understand that. And they won't get it. So they're going to have to pay out through the ass to get the people out there to make that work for them. At the same time, there's just so many things that they're going to have to do without saying too much, because heaven forbids, both Crumb and I, we like to get paid for the work that we like to do.
And I mean, like as small as our show is, like we say something and it's like literally being put into practice somewhere.
Fuck, man. Like the biggest thing I'm pissed off about is you got Fan Expo. Okay, Douglas, fucking Fan Expo, the largest geek event within Canada, hands down, no problem. Basically, Fan Expo has their own particular universe / worlds they built. They bought other conventions in the US. Like they're really getting up there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They stole our fucking hashtag, for God's sakes.
Wow.
They did. Like we stole it rightly from Ricada. And by the way, Ricada, come on our fucking show. We're waiting for you.
Yeah, get on here.
Exactly. Douglas is here.
We appropriated it from Ricada.
Exactly.
Maybe that's why he doesn't want to come on.
Well, the thing is that we could talk to him. We could buy him a bottle of whiskey.
Buy him a bottle of whiskey and he'll show up.
There you go. We'll buy him some Fireball or something like that. I heard he likes a particular brand. But anyways, long story short, you got fucking Fan Expo that has all the resources and everything else. And they look at little Kitchener Comic-Con. They go, that's a really good hashtag. I think we'll just, there you go. And it's like, what are you guys doing?
The mafia.
Oh,
we took it. What are you going to do about it, little?
Well, we're going to sit back going, that's great. I'm glad you did. Because when they discover your stuff, guess what else they're going to find, Bucky?
Yeah, because I mean, like right now, Fan Expo is advertising us. And all
exactly.
The stuff, and in turn, advertising all the stuff that we did for Vic Mignogna as well. So,
and also bringing in the Nick Ricada aspect in that as well. Like, as Ricada would say, how embarrassing. So the people at Fan Expo that's decided to take our ideas, we've been watching for a while, and thank you very much. Copying is the ultimate form of flattery. And oh, by the way, how is your YTV mini reunion compared to ours first?
Yeah, they did that too.
Oh dear.
You don't understand. This company has everything, Doug. Everything. Meanwhile, Crumb, our team, myself, we're struggling day in and day out to bring the bestest event we could possibly muster. We're under the gun for everything. We got people yelling at us, people basically congratulating us, people encouraging us. people saying, "Hey, you ever play Minecraft too much?" That type of thing. But long story short, it's really weird when you start seeing these larger companies just taking ideas that we have coined and came up first, and we got the docs. And
it's a confirmation that you're onto something. That's for sure.
Exactly. And the funny thing is, this is all of our beginning stuff. Just imagine.
Well, the thing that you're missing here, Mr. Hop.
Oh, what am I missing?
Is that we're doing it with no budget.
Well, we've got a budget.
I'm saying. We don't have money. We don't have sponsorship. We don't have independent sponsorship. We have
I know.
Basically what we have in our couch cushions and the heart and soul of our team. And that's basically what we're putting our shows on with.
And the funny thing is, Doug could actually confirm with that. If you have heart, everything else will come into place. Right?
I
Doug?
agree. I just think you do it right. Do your best, and then you have no regrets. So do your best, and then you did your best.
Exactly.
You sit there and go, oh, shoulda, woulda, coulda. Should have worked a little harder.
Well,
should have fought a little harder.
Well, the thing is that settlement for us this year, no, we did everything right. We went above and of what we should have done. We really worked really hard to put this
entire team stepped up, did amazing.
Exactly.
Hit all cylinders. I think the results showed exactly what that was too.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
to show it.
I think the same thing is true for. I think the same thing is true for you, Doug, as well. I'm going to bring up your campaign here again. I know everyone's enjoying watching you ink. I'm going to bring up the campaign here again. Let's just take a quick peek at the Canadian dollar amount, which is going to give you a bit more of an ego.
Yeah.
Let's refresh it really quick. Because I saw that number going up. So you're sitting at 239,641 Canadian dollars. Amazing.
That's excellent.
181,000 US, 882.
Yeah.
Wow.
And this campaign is going to get loaded up still. Like this is if you buy 2 books, we're talking about 14 pounds of material here. These are hardbound 9x12, 160 page books. I always throw in free comics. Not only that, but after the Kickstarter is done, we're opening up an Indiegogo. And all of the goodies that are raised on the Indiegogo get added to the Kickstarter backers.
That's amazing.
And everything the Kickstarter's added to this are going to automatically go to the Indiegogos. So you're going to have 2 campaigns worth of goodies. I do these. I do high quality free cloth patches. Here's an Earthworm Jim one. I did a Psychro patch on this campaign. I'm working on another secret patch for this campaign. So you'll get loaded up with stickers and patches and comics and things besides just the book. I put in very high quality stuff. And these stickers aren't like cheap sticker mule stickers. These are expensive outdoor vinyl stickers that cost quite a bit per.
Small favor, Crumb, if you don't mind, can you throw me up on the big screen there?
You're on the big screen.
No, I'm talking about, when everyone's small over here and I'm like large over here type of thing.
I don't think I can do that.
You can't do that? Are you sure?
Yeah. I can do it for me. I don't think I can do it for you.
Yeah, you can't do it. Well, you can if you click the guest, I believe. There's a hover over his icon down at the bottom and then you can see. Yeah, there you go. See?
Oh, there we go.
Now, there's a reason why I asked this, and usually I don't ask this too often, but since Doug is here, we're doing a bit of shelling. I'm just taking a little sign down from here just because I need the whole stage. Now, this is the thing I want to show, and I'm really sorry to do this to you. They're not Ken. Is that when I got my book, when it came in this giant friggin' UPS
box.
Yeah.
Thank you for please correct me if I screw things up here verbally. It came in this box, which is a fantastic shipping company to begin with. So the thing is that, again, when I buy stuff, I like to keep the stuff all together as much as I can. So the thing is that this is book 1, by the way.
Yeah.
So the thing is that first off, it came in a second box, which makes me happy. And in this box, you got the cow. Look at
There's 2 cows on that box.
Oh yeah,
Well done.
That's supposed to look like a 80s punk band work of art. Is that is the theme
when I
of that
saw
box?
this, Crumb and I, we laughed and we laughed and we laughed. This is actually, I use this as part of my Facebook wallpaper. So
Cool.
that's there. And of course, here's the best part. Okay, lots of white space, blah, blah, blah. Then we got the back of the fucking thing. Look at the detail behind this. And I got to tell you, Douglas is a monster when it comes down for presentation and just simply giving a shit when people buy his stuff. But wait, fans, there's more. We got this, right? And now we got like the sides. You got artwork all over the place. You got this. And we got that. Where's the second cow? Did I miss it? Oh, there it is. And there's the second moo cow of happiness. It's like sitting right there. So sort of a little angsty going, why am I in the darkness? I don't know.
Why me? What did I do?
Exactly. Why
did I move?
Why did I move? Why? But the thing is that, ladies and gentlemen, this is just the box. Okay. Now we're gonna, as Mr. Hobbs said, we're gonna open this son of a bitch up, and then basically inside, if I could do this right, without destroying this wonderful thing. Oh, there we go. First off, the box itself is absolutely fantastic, and look at that, more artwork. So the thing is that, again, what I was blown away.
Artwork's right. It's honestly super high quality stuff.
Yeah, basically you have all of this right here. You got this thing, and this has a whole bunch of really
preview for Bigfoot Build 2.
Exactly. And the thing is, this is just pure marketing from Doug stuff. Like, again, this comes with a plastic
high-end trading cards and stickers, tattoos.
Like again, he even went as far as like the patch that you showed right there. You got like cards, for goodness sakes, like back in the 80s, you could buy like the bubblegum stuff.
So good.
Like so basically you have that, and then you got like you got this thingy as well. You got like the comic book that we were talking about and stuff. Like this is amazing. We haven't even got the friggin' books yet. And this is what Doug just, goes, oh, we'll just throw it in there. Yeah. And the thing is that, and then we come to the main event of stuff. Oh, look at this.
The beast.
Yeah. First off, getting back to the box, he puts everything in this styrofoam thing. So just imagining the packaging that went into this, just for starters.
Yep. Like, there's no dents on your book, even though it got thrown around between our countries.
Exactly. and on top of that, remember I showed you the outside of the box? Here's the inside. Okay, like more artwork, more TLC, more caring love, and it's just absolutely
purely
amazing.
Collectible.
Yeah, they got the Earthworm Jim logo there and stuff like that. And now I only bought the one book because these things.
I bought the super fan pack.
Yeah, and the thing is that Crumb did a full unboxing with stuff.
That was one of my favorite unboxings too.
And the things that, look at this.
It is a work of art in itself.
Yeah, and this is just the front cover, and you got the back cover there. Plus, on top of that, this is all hard embossed. And then on top of that, now this is me as a publisher, where I get really jelly. Is that it's got the gold around the actual pages there.
That's gold gilding.
And you got the other. Is this gilding too, or the actual trim?
The trim is called just a foil. It's called foil stamping, or foil pot press.
Yeah. And the thing is that this is not even open. It's in the original packaging, the whole 9 yards. Again, this lives in the UPS box, and it just sits on my shelf.
And people who from Canada, you're going to see the shipping on it, and you're going to poop your pants at how expensive it is. But
it's worth it.
If your book gets lost, I'll replace it. We'll send you another one. If your book is damaged, I'll send you another one. So it's really all to ensure that international get their books.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And on top of that, one of the few things that people who know me is I don't have a lot of money. Yeah. It's just that's just how that ball is rolling for right now. Comic-Con's wonderful. I have my own reasons why I do it and stuff like that, and it's worth the time. I'm telling you, folks, that, again, not to shell for the sake of shelling. Doug puts a lot of time, positivity, thoughtfulness, packaging, everything else into his books. And this is why the big two publishing companies are having problems because they can't compete on this level. And
if you did, I mean, like, honestly, if a Marvel or a DC brought this kind of quality out, you'd be spending $100 on that book.
Right.
Yeah, just the book. Just the book. Not the actual box it came in, not the actual extra patches, not the stickers, not the cards, nothing like that. Just the book itself. And on top of that, one of the few things about collectors, it's an instant collector.
Yeah. It holds its value on eBay. They can't compete with me because they want deeper there. They have way more money than us, but they want giant margins and I don't.
Yeah.
So you can't compete with me because I'm not trying to gouge everybody and just make, I raised $815,000 and I worked hard on that thing forever. I barely came out with any profit.
And one thing I'd like to add as well.
I was about
Doug, so sorry, I just want to jump in here really fast. Okay, Doug, when you opened, what was your total amount for the first couple of days? Do you remember? Just roughly.
I think we did 80 on the first day.
Okay, so but 80K.
Yeah,
80K in the first day. And what did Doug do on the following day? He made a video showing people how to make a fanzine, which is basically an independent off the photocopier type of comic, to basically push the actual independent aspect and how to put stuff together. Doug didn't have to do that, and I voiced that through my actual tweet to you. And
cool, thank you.
Which was awesome, and the things you liked it, which there we go. But the thing is that, long story short, he didn't have to do that, but he did. Yeah. And the thing is that regardless of what Douglas has done in the past, the whole 9 yards, these are things that other creators, other publishers just don't do.
Yeah.
Like,
I treat it because I'm a fellow fan. I'm a fan of the medium. I don't understand why other people aren't fans.
Yeah.
Like, this is what fans do. This is what we love. I absolutely love the printing. And it's an entertainment. I love entertaining you guys through what you get. Getting back to what you guys said about Kitchener, though, when people see that you put on a better show, you have to believe that some of them will come back because you put on a better show.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Crumb, how's your belt looking?
Oh yeah, we have.
How did we do this year that way? Huh?
I don't know if you know this, Doug, or if you saw this yet, but we had so basically there's a couple local things, and I'll let Ken jump in after this because I know we've been stomping all over his. We don't want to rise of the robots here. So
no, I'll be okay.
I'll be okay.
Awesome.
So we have a couple local newspapers. I mean, they hit the region. They're fairly large newspapers.
They're around for like 70, 80 years type of thing.
Yeah. So I mean, and they have a a reader's choice, viewer's choice type of thing, right? And so the viewer's choice runs depending on which publication we're talking about. This one was the Waterloo Waterloo Chronicle, I think, or one of the two. Yeah.
It's
anyways.
Established paper.
This particular one runs, I believe, from correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Hop, July to July.
That's absolutely correct. I think it's June to July or
June to July or whatever else. But basically,
12 months. 12
months. It goes 12 months. So they have the rewards in June, and they basically look at the events from July from the previous year up to June of this year. And then people can nominate them and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So the awards came out. So we were nominated for, I think, like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know.
That's wonderful.
Exactly. It was great. And we ended up winning top billing in a local event festival, and local tourist attraction.
Wow.
Which was huge.
Best event in the region.
So you take that around to get some sponsors next year. Take that around and tell them.
Yes.
Right. So this is not. It is. It's not just a small thing either, because some people be like, "Oh, well, that's just whatever." We beat out events like Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
We beat out events like TD Blues Festival.
Yeah.
We beat out events like Ribfest and everything else like that. Those were all nominees as well. For local tourist attraction, we beat out the Elmira Maple Syrup Festival, which sounds funny, but it's huge. It's a huge, huge event.
It's the largest maple syrup festival on the planet.
Wow.
Yeah. And we beat out the St. Jacob Farmers Market, which is again a massive, massive tourist attraction.
It's been around since before the region was created as a region. That's how old this thing is.
So these were
you
not
guys
small.
show up and you out fan serviced them. You did something better for the community and for your fans.
And in return, they basically responded and they voted for us.
That's wonderful.
Which was incredible. It was really, really incredible. And that's something that it's because I know some people will be like, oh, well, it's just because of this or that or whatever else. It's like, no, this was our local fans, because like outside people couldn't really vote. You'd have to be in the region to vote for it. So that's coming from our hometown. That's coming from our home fan base. So that was really huge. But,
that's cool.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. I'm proud of you.
It's
great.
Thank you. All right, Ken, before the AI rises up on us.
It's okay. I've been left alone before. I deal with it.
Oh, are you used to it, Ken?
A little bit.
I'll just stay here in the basement.
Yeah, that's what it was like.
Send water.
But I was gonna say, Doug, when you were talking to when Mr. Hop was showing the packaging and stuff and seeing, because when I was looking at the campaigns, because I missed out on the opportunity to buy one of the Earthworm Jim stuff because I wanted the comic, I wanted to launch the cow stuff. I couldn't get it at the time, and I could see the quality of it, and I know just from looking at the packaging, because I was when I was in my undergrad, I was looking at starting a business, and I won a competition from my school for a business competition, and part of my business involved shipping, and I knew, looking at how much of that packaging was there and how much detail went into it, that how much you spend in packaging is a lot. I was going to ask you, your margins are pretty damn low, based on the book prices and how much of that packaging and stuff and the shipping, so the margins aren't that great.
It goes quick. I mean, if I make a patch and they're $1.50 each, that's $15,000 by the time I get them out to 9,500 backers. It's like,
yeah.
And then the same with the printing those trading cards. I think the trading cards alone, because I did a set of 90, I think that was like $56,000 on just on the trading cards to get them out to 10,000 people, that many packs. So the money goes quick. It goes quick, and it's okay. I mean, that's what you're paying for. Is if the backer gets me more and more money, I'm going to bury you. My goal is simply to just bury you and have you go, wow.
We will crush you.
We will crush you.
But anyway, are we getting Pogs then, Doug? Is that what you said?
Everyone keeps asking for freaking Pogs.
Give us freaking Pogs, Douglas.
Pogs would be cool.
I'll get one. But just to punish you, the Pog will say, only losers want Pogs. That's what the Pog's going to say on it.
Oh, if you have Psychro saying that would be hilarious.
Yeah, I'll do an Earthworm Jim Pog. It says, only losers want Pogs.
Or you're gonna have both the cardboard Pogs, and you're gonna have like the big metal slammer thing.
The big slammer. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking. There's certain things that make me nervous, and metal makes me nervous because to throw a metal in a box that has 14 pounds of books rolling around in it, and suddenly it can scratch the surface of the book, and then I got to replace your book.
Oh,
so,
wait a minute. Unless, of course, you put the metal thing inside cardboard.
That's right.
And then you tape it up or something.
That's right. It depends on how much room is in that box, though, and so suddenly it could make it not deep enough to hold the book. Then I have to send out a separate shipment. You know what I mean?
Or you put it in the plastic baggy thing if you do this again for your.
Yeah, but I'd have to bubble wrap it or something. Hope the thickness didn't go beyond
what
the box.
I think cardboard and tape might do it well.
Maybe. Well, a pog we could do. That'd be easy. The slammer and
for sure.
So I'm looking into like enamel pins right now to throw those in, and other people sell theirs. I throw them in, but
I have an idea for you. I have an idea for you.
Yeah.
Maybe you could sell the slammer individually outside of the campaign.
Send a separate. But then there's so few of them made because if you sell them, then there's few.
Well, this is
I'm trying to find stuff I can give away to everyone.
Yeah. Well, if you have the Pogs, you need the slammer, right?
Right.
So who doesn't have a complete collection of all the cool Earthworm Jim stuff?
Well,
I can't see. That's why I'm not gonna do it. I'm telling you, it's too hard.
Depending on the maker is because the Pog stuff you used to get the Pogs and the Slammer, and you had the tube that they stayed in that you protected them with. So you could probably design your packaging based on the idea of it all coming in a tube. Your Slammer at the bottom or top or whatever.
That would work.
It's
if I put the Slammer between two Pogs.
Yeah.
Like sandwich it in there and have a really small package. It could protect it.
On, so
yeah, that'd be really cool.
You have to factor it into your packaging, but you could probably figure that out for somehow.
Yeah.
Sorry to sidetrack on.
I'm telling, it's $1 million idea.
Yeah, I guess
People would
all discussed here live.
I hate all of you, but okay.
$1 million Canadian dollar idea.
Exactly. Pogs. Sweet.
Pogs.
Knucklehead Pogs. There we go.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Put a Canadian flag on there.
There you go, eh?
Yes.
So Doug,
a couple of Knuckleheads.
where do you see the comic industry going in the near future with all of these changes?
Yeah, I really do see the crowdfunding area and independent comics exploding because if you just look at, I'm looking at other businesses like, let's say, cable television or Netflix. Mm-hmm. Look at what channels are offered. There's a gay and lesbian channel. There's a family channel. There's a religious channel. There is a horror channel. And kind of, I think where the market's going is we expect more material catered just to us. Mm-hmm. So more and more, you're going to have guys like just go, I'm going to fund the Todd McFarlane company, or I'm going to fund the Rob Liefeld company, or I'm going to fund the Doug TenNapel company. So it's almost like we're each becoming kind of a separate channel. I just think the audience gets segmented and, bifurcated and cut up and sliced into smaller and smaller pies. But, if you're a Scientologist and they have the Scientologist cable channel, guess what you're going to watch? Exactly. So I think the market is going to do more of that kind of separation from itself. And we're splitting us up into little tiny markets. So instead of me doing comics for Image, I do comics for Doug TenNapel. It's a smaller company that can better service people who are specifically Doug TenNapel fans.
I think you're right on the money with that. And like I was talking with Mr. Hop about what I think the next steps because we talked about the next steps about what conventions, like from our opinion, should be doing. And movies seem to be moving strictly to online on-demand services.
That's right.
If there's anything that our trip to the movie theater last night showed us was that people do not want to risk it, and they would rather stay at home and watch new releases rather than going out and risking it. So I think for comic books and comic book stores, I think specifically for comic book shops that still want to go, and this is free advice for anybody who's running a comic book shop, so you take it for what you will. I think the next step for them would be kind of what the mom and pop video shops that are still around, or like the hobby shops that are doing. I think that the next step for them is kind of following that. And I personally would love if comic book stores got into the business of getting old vintage comics, old collectible comics and stuff like that, and start selling those. Yeah, because I don't think the market is going to be there for brand new comics, because you're not going to get them from distributors. People are going to be going directly to their favorite content creators for them anyway. I think that we're going to have to go back and get like the old 80s comic books and start reselling those and start getting generations interested in those again.
Sure.
And the best example I'm envisioning is that the movie called Unbreakable, where you have Dr. Glass basically have his own comic book shop, but it's like a super high-end art store. Yeah. And is that, the clients that come in buy like the comic books that are framed under glass and stuff like that. And of course, then you got Samuel Jackson's character basically thanking the client for the actual purchase, and basically kind of goes, this will be great for my child. And Samuel Jackson says, no, this is not a comic book for children. I am withdrawing my actual product from you, good sir. Get out of my shop. Good day.
They and the other thing is, like, the Capes comic books, right, of DC and Marvel only make up for DC 10% of their sales come from those comic books.
Yeah.
10% of sales in comic book shops are the normal Cape comics.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the store, the other 90% of the business is manga.
Yeah.
So it's not the big two.
Mm-hmm.
Those are largely Scholastic and Funko Pop.
Yeah.
So or lunch boxes, DC and Marvel lunch boxes and T-shirts and stuff like that. So the idea that we're watching the Cape comics dying slowly is we overplayed a weak hand. We've been leaning on them to do too much of the heavy lifting, and they really aren't what the broadest business of what comics are about anymore. So stores are going to have to diversify. Even I'm all for, I want comic book shops to be like bars. Like they should be serving alcohol and have a lounge where you can hang out with your buddies and read comics and have a pint and play some Magic the Gathering.
And basically foolish enough to buy a $300 product by accident.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's a great idea.
It works out really well for that.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. It's just the whole thing that, and I agree with Doug here, that's going on here is that I really think that the big two have forgotten how to market their product to the 25 and younger demographic.
Yeah.
And they're resting.
They've definitely abandoned the kids.
Yeah, exactly. And at the same time here, they're pissing off the older kids along the way. Best two brand new characters from Marvel comic books bullpen of stupidness is, Snowflake and Safe Space.
Yeah.
Like, really?
Yeah. How are they going to fight crime? I don't understand.
The thing is, Doug, one of the few things I like to bring to the forefront is we both know as publishers how difficult it is to register a trademark, to copyright your actual product, the whole 9 yards. And just imagine the resources it went to basically produce those two characters to the point it went to fucking print. Yeah. What's going on with Marvel?
Who's going to buy that? Who's going to buy those here? Oh.
It disappeared. It disappeared right before right after the pandemic hit. Yeah.
I think Ken was what their idea was, but I think they failed in the execution. I think that was their attempt to target the younger demographic and kind of
target it.
Well, listen. Let me hear me out.
Yeah, of course.
I thought the thing was funny as shit, and I thought it was stupid, but it was their attempt to target the young demographic and try to, because you have people, use those terms in a derogatory manner, and try and spin it and make it powerful, because people will use those in an insulting way against their quote unquote core base of under 25s now. So it's like this attempt for empowering people with these terms, and it didn't work because they didn't think about it from the perspective of like a 25-year-old going,
of course, yeah. And on top of that, do you know the two other characters they had? Because we were launching New Warriors. Remember the other two characters? There, Ken?
I don't remember them.
B Negative was another one who was like a vampire character. And there was another one. There was another one called Ad Block or something dumb like that.
Ad Block. Oh my gosh.
So basically, he was the character that could be online and be in the real world at the same time. Like, if that came across my desk when I was in my publishing, Doug knows exactly how we're to look at that.
Yeah.
I would say you can shoot in
screen time.
At night.
Exactly. Oh, it would be me flipping the fuck out going, so let me get this straight. I spent money into you to produce this garbage, and you're telling me that 25-year-old kids are going to buy this shit? Yeah. Go get me my fucking coffee. But Mr. Hop, you don't drink coffee. Get the fuck out of my office.
Yeah.
Do you remember the lore for Screen Time, the internet guy?
Yeah, that's it. Screen Time. That's it. Yeah. That's it.
He got his power through his, I think,
internet gas.
Internet gas. Haywire or something.
Here's where Marvel keeps fucking up, and I'm going to use very straight.
I remember that, but I don't remember the rest of the shit.
Well, the thing is that B Negative was the vampire character because his blood is B negative. So, however, quick
and
rant.
PB negative, yeah.
Quick rant. That is a perfect. This is a perfect example how Marvel Comics, that's been around since 80 fucking years, does not know how to sell comics to the kids.
We've seen that though, haven't we?
Well, the thing is,
like a lot of different things.
Here's what Stan Lee did. God bless his soul, whatever realm he might be living in, Excelsior. Basically, the thing is that Stan went
Universe
to the
3.
kids. What's
He's
that?
burning in hell.
Universe 3.
Stop it. Both of you. Anyways, Stan went to the kids and simply asked the kids, what do you guys want in comics? That's what he did. And
that would be the smart thing, wouldn't
yeah,
it?
well, this is the funny part. That would be the smart thing. But you know what? I've got a great idea, Crumb. Let's get all the Marvel Comics new talent to go online and argue with the
instead of asking people what they would like for comics, we're dictating to people what they would like for comics.
And the name that won't be mentioned, which is Richard C. Meyer. You know what his approach from all this is? They're hot dog salesmen. Guess what they sell? They sell fucking hot dogs. That's it. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, non-binary person. Here's your hot dog. Sure, no problem. Please come back. That's it.
Well, and then you have a bunch of people complaining that they aren't selling burgers, right?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you got that. But long story short, they sell fucking hot dogs, and they've forgotten about that. Like, again, if I had any of this talent on our staff that pulled that bullshit, Crumb, you know what I would do. Yeah. You know exactly what would fucking
You're messing with the bottom line.
Exactly. And the thing is that when you're a medium-sized entrepreneur like we are, we can't afford to have that. Now, based with Marvel and the universes that they built and everything else like that, what is going on? And on top of that,
it's going to cost so much money to get those fans back once they're gone, too.
No, it's going to get worse.
Hemorrhaging.
Yeah, if they ever get back.
Here's what's happening in a nutshell. I'm pretty sure the three of us, the four of us, have heard about this. Basically, DC was sold to Warner Brothers a long time ago. Warner Brothers was sold from AT&T. Guess what AT&T is, guys? Long story short, they're a corporation. They're there to make fucking money. If your division is not making money, you're done. There's no fan stuff, no strings attached. You're done. And DC Comics lost over 600 fucking employees in a weekend because they're not pulling their fucking weight. Now, we take that adjective and we put the House of Mouse in place of AT&T. And on top of that, the House of Mouse had to borrow $9 billion just to keep the fucking lights on. Marvel's not producing. So what do you think is going to happen to Marvel Comics? Oh, I'll tell you. Mom and pop shops, they ain't going to get them anymore. Why? Because the smart money and the smart business is putting the shit in the giant box stores like Walmart's and stupid shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, they're done. They're done.
Well, they're already so small, they're almost done. I mean, you're talking about 2,000 stores in America, less than 2,000.
It's that. Yeah, exactly. And the thing is that this is stuff that those fucking people online are not realizing. And I apologize for using strong language but they're just not getting it. Or unless they're serving some sort of initiative, which is destroy heroes.
Well, I mean, that's what we've been saying. There is a push for people out there that want to basically see everything burn. They want to burn everything down. It wasn't. You might be able to pull this one out, Doug, because I'm a bit fuzzy on it. But isn't there like some sort of there was some sort of like propaganda thing a little while ago, or like I'm saying like 20, 30 years ago, about saying like the first thing that these people do is they attack the arts. They go after entertainment. And this is the first thing that's
Andrew Breitbart he said politics are downstream from culture.
Yeah.
That we're all looking to go to courts and the legal system to change the way people think, and really far more influential is culture.
Exactly.
People get their news from Steve Colbert and Gavin McInnes and, personalities now from cultural icons. They don't get it from even a 24-hour news station anymore. Old people do that. And that's why they advertise for catheter sales on Fox News, because that's where the old people are going. The young people, they get it from different sources. Right?
Exactly.
They're not doing Happy Meal commercials on Fox and MSNBC. They're all catheter commercials and
independent
and old people prescriptions.
Viagra.
Viagra. That's right.
And also, as Crumb says, that all depends, right?
Yeah, all depends. They do the
all
depends ads.
depends all the time. Maybe
It's so crazy, and there is a really huge war going on right now.
Yeah.
Over the arts and over culture to get control over the arts and get control over culture, and it's just fascinating because there's so many people that are employing political attack tactics against just everyday people and everyday
That's right.
people.
They want you and I out. They want you and I. They want to silence us. They don't want you to have a YouTube show. They don't want you to have a convention. They think you're not worthy of it unless you fight the right fight and have the exact same triggered by the exact same things.
Yeah.
Equality.
So fascinating.
We really gonna get triggered over that to the point that, hey, we took this kick Vic thing, touched the wall a little bit, and said we're gonna pressure point there, and punched it as hard as we could. We made a foundation crack.
I mean, you look at all the people that have tried, that people have tried to cancel or tried to condemn, and there's many more people, thankfully, still alive than there are that decided to exit stage left.
Right.
That's unfortunate.
And that's a testament, I think, to people's resolve, and I think that's what anyone out there that is going through that type of stuff. I mean, like you said before, I think people should use this as motivation to be better and succeed in the face of these detractors, in the face of these terrible people that don't care, that don't actually have best interest in mind for majority, or for the fans, for that matter,
or for the art form,
Yeah, 100%. Well, I think we've gone on for quite a long time here, so go around the table.
Look at how much drawing. Holy cow! I got some drawing. You guys got some work done for me, man. That's beautiful.
Look at that. Can you pull out a little bit? Can you pull out a little bit from that? See the whole
This
thing?
is a big full pager here of there's
amazing.
Bob up there. I still have a bunch of detail up there to do, and this is the Psychro image, and there's Earthworm Jim as the blind cave salamander flying in a Psychro, and I got to still buff out his body.
That's so
my goodness. And all this brought to you live from the Canuckleheads.
Look at that. See that? This is a comic
amazing.
book show. It's about comics. It's about conventions and live comic drawing online. This is about as comic-y as you can get.
My goodness.
That's amazing.
My goodness. Well, we'll go around the table for final thoughts. We'll start with Ken, just in case his modem decides to blast off to Mars.
Blows up again.
Thanks for that.
Hey, just because you buy
It's actually been
Skyneck
holding out.
technology,
Thank you.
That's good.
Skyneck technology, 50% off Walmart. You know, it's all good.
Yeah.
It's my great value modem.
Great value.
I just think it's a lot of these issues are centered around the way that, again, the culture and the way people have been kind of, primed and learned to react to things. And it's unhealthy because it doesn't give you independence. And it's clear to see the people who can be independent versus can't. For example, if someone gets upset, if you're getting so upset that you can't function over someone using a word or something, it brings you down that much, there's a lot more going on. It's not the word that's bringing you down. There's other shit going on.
For sure.
It's not, for example, it's not Doug's religion that's causing you problems.
That's right.
You got other shit going on too, and it's exacerbated by that. It's still not Doug's fault. You got to fix your own shit first. So that's how I would kind of sum it up.
Absolutely.
Well said.
Yeah. Doug, final thoughts.
Sure. Just I don't ever want to get people worried or scared or thrown into despair. That I want you to. We're happy warriors. We want to have a blast. We want to be love other people. I see other people as being made in the image of God. I see God's mark on everyone, the spark, and that means they get a certain amount of dignity, no matter how much we disagree. I just think we never want to get to a point that we're like Antifa. When you see someone on the ground, you go up and start kicking them in the head. Those aren't our values. That we, in the end, we love even the people we disagree with. And all we're asking, is for our own space to create what we want to create and have a good time. And where we disagree, we're all going to disagree on something. So we're going to have to learn how to disagree better. But I'm a huge fan of comics. This is what I do with my whole day. This is all I want to do is draw, hang with you guys, hang with friends, and draw. Is to me, it's like I'm in heaven. So
that's so awesome.
My hope is that everyone would get to experience this. I think it's great.
Yeah. Mr. Hop, final thoughts.
Well, first off, I got nothing but thank yous to both Ken, Robot Ken, that the two of you guys came on the show today, plus on top that Doug taking some time out of his insanely busy schedule to broadcast with us. Plus on top of that, thank you, Crumb, for putting all this together. Plus on top of that, independency is the best way to go. Just do what you can and be kind to each other.
That's right.
Yeah, and I'm going to echo all of these sentiments. I mean, this has been wonderful. I mean, thank you, Ken, and Robot Ken, both of you, for coming on. And thank you, Doug, for making time to come on and share and
always a pleasure.
Ink this amazing piece in front of us has been truly awesome, and sharing your wisdom and thoughts on all of these topics.
You're going to get to read the book coming up.
Oh,
and you're such a blessing to me, Chris. Just you went to town defending me at one point, way beyond the call of duty, and I just thought that's someone I adore. I absolutely adore you, and I feel in debt to you for that. I just haven't seen that kind of bravery or balls in my life. I mean, I'm just going. I have friends who are much closer who would never do that, and I go. I'll go with Cress wherever you lead. I'm on board. I'm standing by your side. So I thank you.
I truly appreciate that. That honestly does mean a whole lot to me.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for that. And honestly, like I would do the same thing for people that I believe are being mistreated. And
that's right.
It's like you said, you got to treat people with kindness, got to treat people with respect, even if you don't agree with them or if you don't like them. You have to go an extra mile, right? I mean, like I know there's a lot of people out there that I've gotten into arguments with, or I've gone to town on, that may disagree with my viewpoints on certain things. But I always approach things from initially from a place of caring and try to understand at least neutrality.
We're going to make mistakes in how we execute on a lot of this, on a lot of these arguments and stuff. You're just watching and that happen on the internet. A lot of mistakes. That's normal too.
And but the thing that I tend to look at, it's like the reciprocation of things, right? So it's one of those things. Like I'm here as long as people want me to be here, and as long as people treat me right. So you haven't treated me wrong yet, Doug. So I truly appreciate that. And yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show.
Anytime. Hopefully. Thanks for pumping my book. I appreciate your audience. It was great also hanging with Ken. I appreciate you guys.
Absolutely.
Don't be a stranger in the chat on my show.
Oh, absolutely. And folks, go and back this book. Honestly, if you like Doug, if you hate Doug, there's a whole team of people, great people that put this book together. It is quality. It is a piece of history. Like this is something like you're not going to see again. So you just get it while you can, because once you miss the chance, it's gone. So just go.
I need your support. When I'm canceled, it'll be too late. So get in now. I need your help now.
And also don't forget to chat with the best chat.
Our chat is the best chat.
It's the best chat ever. Best in the YouTubes, best in the internets.
Exactly. We're going to build a wall and make Ricada pay for it.
That's right. And also, Ricada, if you're watching our broadcast,
get on here. Get on the show. Get on the show.
We got Doug basically giving us sponsorship, and we got Robot Ken, not Ken, on with us as well. So, for goodness sakes, what are you waiting for? As he would say, the water's fine, Ken.
Yeah,
the water's fine.
But one thing I want to say to everyone that's watching the show, past, present, future, if you've not already subscribed to the channel, please do.
Yeah,
we have had. I actually saw that we have more than half the people that watch the show that aren't subscribed. So
Oh, really?
Please subscribe to the show. We're actually really close to a Spooky Saturday show. I said if we hit 500 subscribers, we're going to do a Spooky Saturday, and I'll do some tarot card readings for people. So I know spooky stuff.
So basically, don't forget to clack that like button. Please share the video, and also don't forget to hit that luscious red subscriber button
and the notifications
and the Taco Bell notification bell. Oh, there's Doug. Hey, buddy.
There's Doug. So we're gonna.
So you can see my face before.
There we go. Before we say goodbye, we'll do the traditional Doug outro.
Oh.